Thanks for coming on, by the way.
Thank you very much for inviting us. You're a target. If someone recognised you, they could have come and got you. So I'm here to give you a life lesson.
Whereabouts in Newcastle were you born?
I was born in the RVI hospital. It's a fucking shithole, like, but I love the place as well.
It's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah, and
That's a nice word for shithole.
because I've seen you build up maybe 2 or 3 accounts.
Yeah.
One of your biggest accounts was over 1 million followers. I mean, that's enormous.
I use 20 apps. You know what I mean? And when I do it, mate, I'm like the Rain Man. My hands like this.
All of your content, I look and the characters and the graphics, and I think, how does he do that?
Yeah.
And then you would expose bullies on a massive level, which was beautiful, because there's nothing better than bullying a bully.
Oh, nothing bad.
Beautiful.
Nothing.
And then there was a documentary on your Panorama because of that.
Yep.
And then you lost your account. Then you came back.
Yes.
And then you was exposing pedophiles, and your account blew up again. And then they cancelled that account too.
Yep.
So I want to find out all about you. Thanks for coming on, by the way.
Thank you very much for inviting us.
And yeah, I've always thought this geezer needs to have his own TV show. Not that you're wasted on social media.
Yes.
It's a gift for the rest of us who are viewing you.
Of course.
But I think I've got a rough idea why the mainstream haven't yet grabbed you. Because I've seen you build up maybe 2 or 3 accounts.
Yeah.
One of your biggest accounts was over 1 million followers. I mean, that's enormous. To have 1 million followers follow you, your every word, your videos would go viral. You'd have hundreds and thousands of people in stitches. You were putting smiles on people's faces.
Yep.
You were their therapy. And then you would expose bullies on a massive level, which was beautiful, because there's nothing better than bullying a bully.
Oh, nothing bad.
Beautiful.
Nothing.
And then there was a documentary on your Panorama because of that.
Yep.
And then you lost your account. Then you came back.
Yes.
And then you was exposing pedophiles, and your account blew up again. And then they cancelled that account too.
Yep.
So I want to find out all about you.
Yes.
And I'm in no rush. And we can take it nice and steady. This is going to be a real joy for me.
Yes.
Because I've been a fan for years. So we will roll it back.
Yep.
You're a Geordie.
Yes, I am.
Born and bred.
I was born in the RVI hospital, which is right next to St. James's Park. And then I moved over to Gateshead about 3 years later. So born in Newcastle, brought up in Gateshead.
I love Gateshead.
It's a fucking shithole, like, but I love the place as well.
It's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
And that's a nice word for shithole.
And it's a polite. I'm being polite.
Yes,
we'll start polite, and then you can just fucking.
Oh, then we're gonna nail the place.
Then you go Robin Armstrong with me.
Okay, I'll ease you here.
It's just feed.
I'm applying the lube.
Put the tip in first, and then go full shaft halfway through.
In and out.
Yeah, tuck them both in there.
I'm ready to push your balls in, mate. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm ready to receive them.
Okay.
So, Gateshead, was you? Do you come from an estate?
I'm from the
gated community?
No. So I was born in Gateshead. I was born in Newcastle with my mum and dad. And my mum and dad broke up, and I moved to Gateshead with my mum. Originally, we moved in with my nana, just a little Mingin council estate. I've always lived in a Mingin council estate, to tell you the truth. But I feel like Mingin council estates, they're more homely feel. Like I say, the family era, I feel like it's gone. There's no like this. When I was a kid in the council estates, the streets would be full of different families, would all be playing water fights and stuff. Now there's none of that shit. There's none of that shit happening anymore. You know what I mean? So I am a council estate kid, born and bred to the death as well.
And back in the day, I know they're different now.
Yeah.
Now you'd fucking bolt the door up tenfold. But back in the day, I'm from a council estate.
Yeah.
You'd have your front door open, your back door open, and everyone was welcome, and they can help themselves to biscuits, tea, sweets, Monster Munch.
You know what I mean?
And it was a nice community.
It was.
Yeah. So I'm very fond of them estates.
Yes.
I still love them. And so
fucking dying a death now. I feel like I feel with the new social media age and whatnot, that this whole love and family shit now doesn't really happen anymore.
Was it a rough estate?
Well, it is pretty rough. I mean, when we were younger, there was no like smackheads and whatnot were few to the dozen. Back in the day, you would very rarely see a drug addict and whatnot. You'd have the odd glue sniffer kicking about. So it wasn't so rough growing up. Now my estate is fucking. I went back to my old childhood home where I used to live. It's just fucking. Mate, it was like something out of Jumanji. Like there's just shit all over the gardens. There's junkies everywhere. So it used to be rough. Now it's sincerely rougher.
Is it more flats or estate?
Both. It's a mixture.
Flats and
high rise.
Yeah.
High rise are fucking horrible, mate.
So when you go around them stairwells, needles,
all the stairwells,
crack pipes,
crack pipes, needles everywhere. There's all of that shit. I mean, there is some nice spots, Well, it's mainly fucking minging.
And you're out of that estate now.
Nah.
So you're still there. Well, the thing is, we normally become most people become a product of their environment. And you could quite easily not be sitting there now with that beautiful smile on your face. You could be in that stairwell with a needle hanging out your arm.
The majority of people who are in the area, it's strange. We all look like, I dress the same as the people in the area, but I think I speak a bit more clearer. And the bog standard person from the council estate around my area, they tend to be fucking useless tramps. You know what I mean? No offense to everyone who's listening. Yous aren't probably useless tramps. But the ones who haven't got Wi-Fi, they're definite proper tramps.
The ones who can't listen,
yes,
you're all tramps.
Yeah, so I'm not going to hear this.
And there'll be no backlash from that.
Them, you know what I mean?
Say something else. Fuck the lot of you.
Tramps. But I am from the tramps, mate. So
school days. Now, I don't need you to tell me that you've got ADHD.
Yes.
I know that.
By wriggling around.
But just by the way, just your high frequency.
Yes.
I'm ADHD too. They're the best people.
They are the best.
They get shit done.
Yes.
They commit. They fuck off the stuff they're not interested in.
Right.
And they laser focus on the stuff they are. And anybody that tells me that their kids are fucking on the spectrum or they've got ADHD, I'm like, good. Give them something they enjoy and get them to focus on that shit,
what I mean?
Because they will be hugely successful.
That could make you a millionaire one day.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
So how did you get on at school? Because how old are you?
I'm 33.
33. So possibly back in the day, them labels weren't floating about.
Nah. Oh, mate. So when I was at school, so believe it or not, when I was at school, I was 18 and a half stone, right? When I was 13 years old, I was fucking minging. The biggest, fattest bastard you've ever seen in your life, right? So the reason I got so fat is my dad was very wealthy growing up, and I would go over on the weekends and see my dad, and he would give us £50 pocket money a week. Now that was fucking, you're basically a millionaire when you got that much pocket money, especially in my area. So my dad would come and pick us up in a different sports car every weekend, and he would give us £50. Progressively, it turned us into a fucking proper fucking elephant, mate. I was
foodie.
Oh, mate, foodie, desserty. If I found a fucking chip butty on the floor, I would eat it, right? Even if it was open. And someone had shit on it, I'd still eat it.
I did one night, pissed out my skull, and I mean absolutely fucking
shit on a chip butty?
Lagging. I didn't shit on a chip butty, but I did see a box of half-eaten pizza, and I thought, I'm fucking having that.
You know what I mean? Yes. Well, I would have done that even if I wasn't drunk. That's how fat I was.
Stone cold sober, first thing, I'll have that.
Oh, all day long. So my school life was affected because of my weight. Now, I don't care what anyone says. You know, when someone tries to be polite and says, look, someone's child's getting fat, right? Look, he's a lovely child. Don't say that. You'll make him feel bad. I fucking hate me mum for letting me get fat.
Yeah,
it ruined my childhood. It ruined it. So all the way through school, I was a big fatty. And that started to affect us when you get to a teenager and you start getting hormones and stuff. Because I wasn't bothered until I got to like 13 years old. It affected me school because you would get bullied and whatnot. And then I hit puberty and I thought, fuck this, I'm going to lose weight. But what I did to make the other kids like us was I became the funny kid. I thought, I'm fat, I'm getting insulted, I'm not getting no compliments here. So if I start being funny, it took some of the weight off us, and I rolled with the fat funny kid. So in school, I was the fat funny one in the class, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that you made yourself funny.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit like sales.
Yeah.
You can't teach funny.
Nah.
That is intrinsic. That is built within you. And it's very humble that you say that. You decide to, because like you didn't decide to be funny.
Nah.
You're just funny, mate.
Aye.
Like you're funny and you're lovable.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. If someone's fat, now I've got to 18.2 stone. I probably sent you the pictures.
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
I had a word with myself.
Yeah.
Liam, you fucking fat, disgraceful, weak mess.
Yes.
Pull yourself together. So I wish somebody had said that to me as I was on the trajectory.
Of course.
As soon as I hit 16 and a half, it's like, how come no one fucking told me that I was looking like a sack of shit?
Yeah.
Because eventually, when your mind catches up with your body, you then become very depressed.
Oh, very depressed.
It's not a nice place to be. So I can totally get, because it's good fun getting there, because you're eating McDonald's and KFC and
Oh, it was great fun. I loved it.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden realisation kicks in. It's like, wow.
Nobody fancies us. You know what I mean? When it really hit home was, there used to be, when MSN, remember MSN, the chat room, when it was first chat room that came around.
Yeah.
All the kids had it in school, and there was something called Rate the Lads and Rate the Lasses. So there'd be different pictures, and you could rate them 1 out of 10.
Now it's Rate My Plate.
I was on that as well, you know what I mean? So I posted a picture, and it was like comments like, oh, really nice, oh, bless him, where all the other lads were getting lush, hottie, all this shit. And I was like, that's when I was like, right, enough's enough. So I had a little overview of my school times. I was obese, and my ADHD made us struggle to learn, and I couldn't explain to my successful dad why I was struggling to understand why I couldn't focus and whatnot. Because you imagine your dad's a very wealthy, clever businessman and does all this. You expect that your genes are going to get passed on to me.
Is he more calm and sort of one thought at a time?
Oh, my dad's a genius. My dad's a very, very clever. Calculated, no mistakes, wealthy, really, really. He's everything. I've got a lot of his traits, but I don't have that side of his traits. And I think it was quite hard for my dad to accept that I was such a useless fucking fat arsehole. He wanted a sporty son who would like going to play football. I was a fucking 18-stone goth. So that was a shit. That was a one.
Imagine he was a goth as well.
I was a minging mate. Year 7, only for 1 year. Like I took 1 year of, mate. Well, being a goth was hard enough. Being an 18-stone goth, you can imagine I was the butt of every joke.
Who are your favourite bands in the goth era?
I was a Slipknot. If everyone's watching.
Metallica.
Oh, everyone. I didn't even know. I just used to go. So basically, I copied off this other fat kid. There was another fat kid in my school, and he was a goth. And I noticed that he had quite a large circle of friends around him. And I was like, well, how's he getting mates? And I'm not getting mates. So off I went to the goth shop, bought myself a Slipknot hoodie.
I got it.
Aye, paint me nails black.
Did you have makeup?
Oh, all that shit, mate. Well, we're on there and that, you know what I mean?
Hang about. So in order to be a bona fide goth,
yes,
you've also got to have long hair.
I have, mate. Well, I had long hair at the time, you see.
Beautiful.
I had blonde hair, believe it or not.
Same.
Aye. So I had blonde hair going to school, then it went black.
If we can get 2 pictures of you,
I'll get them sent over.
Yeah, right now.
I'll send you over. So my blonde hair, I got accepted into the goth tribe. So when I fucking first started playing a goth at school, everyone had tags. I noticed people were writing on walls and that, right? So
you got into graffiti as well?
Yeah, so obviously I was like, oh, what's going on? They're like, oh, obviously you've got to have a tag. If you want to be one of the goths, you've got to have a tag. And I was like, oh, I'll think of a tag. So I went home, and because I was so fat, the only clothes that really fit us were like American clothes. So I had a brand called FUBU. Remember FUBU? It was like FB. Like it's an American, fucking some American, like a skate brand, right? And the logo is a big FB. Remember what Ali G used to wear? Say FUBU under his big mad tracksuits.
Right? Yeah, all oversized.
Yeah, oversized shit.
Yeah.
It wasn't oversized on me. It looked like it was too tight, but it was oversized.
Yeah, like
so, it was horrible. But I thought, right, FB, that looks like a good tag. So I come into the school next day, they're like, oh, what's your tag? I was like, oh, it's FB. And they're like, oh, FB. It meant FUBU, like the brand. But the second I said FB, someone shouted over the back, what's that stand for, fat boy? And I was like, oh, no. And that was it, mate. I was fat boy from then on. So I had to get rid of that tag. So I thought, everyone's calling us fat boy. Obviously, my tag's FB. I'm fat boy. I'm an 18-stone goth.
Little did you know that years later, Mark Zuckerberg was going to catch on to that tag.
You know what I mean? Shit, I'll have to go and see I've got a trademark.
He owes you a few quid.
A few bill. You know what I mean? So I was a fat, ugly, minging bastard at school.
Very hard to believe that you was ever ugly, mate.
I've had a few weeks of eating bad food. If I have a hard time at the moment, mate, the thing I fall back on is food.
Same.
Comfort eater.
Same.
But like a really bad one.
You know, I'm exactly the same. If you ever, I don't know, if you've ever been to a therapist for whatever reason, let's just say it's drink or drugs.
Yes.
And I was asked a question through one of my traumatic experiences years ago.
Yeah.
And the lady said to me, and I'd never considered this, never ever considered it at all. She said to me, what is your relationship with cocaine? And I thought, that's a fucking strong, that's a strong, complicated word.
To be girlfriend?
To use. But you do have relationships.
Yeah, of course you have, mate.
And I say this, but like, whether it be substance, food, pornography, gambling, you have a relationship with that vice.
100%.
And it's and you've got to be in the driver's seat. You've got to be the best of that relationship.
Yeah.
But I can totally get, which is why the last 2 years I've completely shifted my life,
seeing your routines.
I've shifted my relationship with food. Yeah. And now I'm now back in love with food.
Yeah.
Because when something destroys you, like if you had a toxic partner, eventually that love, you fucking hate them.
Yeah.
I was a bit like that with food. Now I love food. I look forward to eating because I've got it under manners.
You feel healthy as well. I feel shit because when I eat shit, I feel shit.
Yeah, it's not good.
No, it's not.
Short fix.
It's a vicious cycle, like.
So that's still. I think if you're battling some form of addiction, let's say, it's with you forever. You just learn to manage it.
You do,
and then choose another addiction.
Yes,
which is we're going to come to your comedy, which I'm sort of addicted to too.
Oh man, definitely,
because it's fucking great.
Yes.
So when you was a fat kid, you normally realise at school when you've got all the other lads with six packs and swinging dicks in the showers, and they're playing football and they're running up and down the wing, and you can barely fucking
breathe,
get past the 6 yard line. You then start thinking, I wish I hadn't. I wish I'd have spent my dad's pocket money on fucking Predator football boots.
Yes.
Not McDonald's. So was that the point you thought, I've got to sort something out here?
Well, I'll tell you exactly how. So when the day it all came to an end, so we used to go to the youth clubs. So there's not very many youth clubs around the estates and stuff anymore because we lost the funding. So youth clubs is where the kids used to be able to go on an evening. There'll be a football court, there'll be a computer room, and all the council estates scallywags could go and play there. So I would go along there. I didn't go in the sports hall and play fucking football with the boys. I would always play in the computer room, go on Google, because we didn't have a computer back in the house. So I'd go and use the computers and play on the daft games and whatnot. And then one day, one of the youth workers, she came up behind us and she says, "Robin," because I was on the register. I goes, "Yeah." She was like, "You're a big lad, aren't you?" And I was like, she said this in front of all the girls and stuff, and I was fucking embarrassed, right? I was like, "Oh, aye, thanks for that, you fat cow." That's my friend's mum I'm talking about here, by the way. So you're not a fat cow anymore.
Obviously.
Cheers. And then she says, my son's a similar size to you. He plays rugby. Why don't you come and play rugby? Now, I just desperately wanted that to fuck off, right? So I was like, "Yeah, I'll be there. I'll see you later. Bye. I'll see you at rugby." And I put my head back to the computer. Stupidly, when you sign up to a youth club, you have to put your address down. So when I said, "Yeah, I'll be at the rugby club," she came to my house on the day of the rugby training, right? So I'm in my bedroom, right? Fat as fuck. Wanting over Max Payne at the time. Max Payne. Max Power. Not Max Payne. That's Max Power. Max Payne's a male.
Someone's gonna crop that.
I was working over Max Payne.
Robin Armstrong's masturbation habits.
So I was working over Max Payne. Max Power, right, was Max Power. Obviously, the magazines when you were okay, but Max Power, Nuts, Zoo. Obviously, you could get away with going to taking the Max Power book in the toilet because obviously it was a car magazine. It wasn't a dirty magazine, you know?
Little did they know you was wanking over the exhaust pipe.
Aye. Oh, that was what's going on Max Payne. So I'm mid-wank over Max Payne. And my mum goes, "There's a woman at the door for you." And I was like, "Is there the fuck? There's never been a woman at the door for us." You know what I mean? I was like, "There's not a woman." She was like, "There is some older woman." So I was like, I didn't understand what.
Did you say, "As luck would have it, I'm fucking ready"?
You know what I mean? At the time, I was so fat, you couldn't even see me up anyway. So I could have went down with a stiffy and she wouldn't have seen it. You know what I mean? You probably would have tucked it in. So when I got her to the door, I realised it was the youth worker. And she was like, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "For what?" She was like, "For rugby." I'm fucking, mate, when I say I was fat, I was monstrous. I was a size 52-inch waist, right? My stepdad was a big fat bloke. He used to borrow me jeans and they were too big for him, right? You know, like this big.
Yeah, 52 inches.
52 was big.
Yeah, that's big.
So she was like, "I'm in the street, come and get in the street." So my mum was like, "Go on, get yourself away." So I was so humiliated that I had to go and play rugby. So I gets in this little minivan with all our big fat sons, my pals, I can call them that. And I got in, I was like double the size. They were quite fat kids.
And how old were you at this stage?
13, I think I was.
13.
I was monstrous.
And that's you're vulnerable at 13.
Oh, vulnerable, mate. Vulnerable.
Yeah, totally.
I had no idea what to do in my life. I'd never done any exercise. I used to avoid PE. Now I'm in a fucking god going.
So did I.
You know what I mean?
So did I.
Oh, I'd avoid everything. I couldn't be asked, mate. I've any excuse. Oh, I've broke my mum's bra in by accident instead of my PE top. I can't do it. You know what I mean?
Do you remember the fear you would feel when the word 1,500 metres was even suggested?
Cross country, that's what ours was.
Oh, it's the worst.
Nah, mate. No, I wouldn't. I just refused to do it. I would sit in the rain and get detention. I wouldn't give a fuck.
Had a groin strain every time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I just didn't. I mean, I'm mocking you like I was like a 3-year-old child. Would get on the field and I would sit on the floor. The teacher would be grilling his, "Look at all these." And I was just like, I don't give a flying fuck what you're saying, yeah. Well, the rugby club though, I walked into the changing rooms. Now, every 13-year-old was built like fucking typical 13-year-old. They weighed about, 8 stones, 9 stones max. That's how that weight. So when I come waddling in the changing rooms, knocking over people's bags and that, they were like, "Fucking hell, how old are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm 13. And they were like, everyone was giggling. And I was embarrassed. And I was on the verge of walking away and leaving because I didn't like the reaction I was getting. So then we'll get marched onto the field. There's about 40 kids. And I'm fucking waddling over. I literally hadn't run 20 metres in my life, mate. And they were like, "Right, we're going to warm up. We're going to run around the pitch." And I was like thinking of every excuse to leave. But I did it. I got around. I felt like shit just because I didn't want to be embarrassed. And then we started having a game of contact rugby. So the ball come down and they passed it to me. And I was like, what do I do? What do I do? I'm fucking sitting there. I've got the ball balancing on my belly. And she was like, run, just walk down. So I was just waddling down the pitch towards these kids, mate. And they were fucking bouncing off us like ping pongs, right? They were going ping, ping. And I was injuring them all just walking through them. So when I got to the end, they were like, put the ball down. So I've dropped the ball, like slammed it down. They're like, "No, you got to touch the ground." But I turned around and seen everyone was like hands in the head, like, "What the fuck? He's unstoppable." Because I was like a tank, mate, at that age. No one could get it because I was so fat. So
And you must have had the energy that you've got now still in you then.
Yeah, definitely.
When it kicked in, you must have been full of it.
Well, for the first time, I remember, like, it was yesterday, it was like taking cocaine for the first time. To turn around and have everyone clapping and praising you, going, he's unstoppable. I was like, whoa.
That's
I've
lovely.
never had no one say that before.
Oh, that's nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's nice.
So then it was like, right, give us the ball again. And then it was like, from that second on, I wanted the ball constantly because I wanted to fucking knock these kids on the floor because everyone was like, he's the best. And then from then on, mate, in the space of 6 months, I lost 10 stone, like flew off us because I'd never done exercise my whole life, ever.
Yeah.
Everywhere I went, I was carrying a rugby ball. Obviously, I wasn't a goth anymore. Me dad was, seeing me dad being happy that I was getting into a sport motivated us even more. You know what I mean? He was like, what, you playing a sport? What are you playing?
Did they put you, I mean, as a big young lad, I'm assuming they're going to put you as a loose head or a tight head.
I was
prop.
started as prop.
Same.
You know what I mean?
So did they then move, once you lost the weight, did they move you to like flanker or something else?
Yeah, I started. So I was a loose head prop, and then I lost a bit of weight, and I was hooker for a bit because I was good at getting the ball. I was quite aggressive when we went to the scrum. I'd throw me leg
That was
in.
the same as I went prop, then hooker.
Yeah,
Same.
kicking them in the legs and whatnot. And then because I was kicking people in the legs all the time, they put us as a blindside flanker first because I was
The nutty flanker.
I was always the number 8, was always the biggest player, and I was always the most aggressive on my team. The rugby scene around Gateshead, it's surrounded by people like false rich people, or generally half well-off people, no council estate kids. The odd one would get in and they would leave soon after. But I loved it. It was the first time I'd been accepted into a team, and because I was so heavy, I felt like I was great. So I stuck at it. I lost all my weight. I ended up playing. I had county trials. I got called up to an England trial, but when I got there, mate, the kids who are the England trials have been fed steroids for the breakfast since they were fucking 2 years old.
Well, nonetheless, though, to be called up to that level is fucking beautiful.
Oh, I was dedicated, mate. I was really dedicated. I played for like 12 years. I played most of the levels, and then they always said one day you'll find drinking drugs and stuff like that, and I was like, never. My dad sponsored the team. I had Rob Armstrong on the front of the pitch and stuff. Was sponsored by Canterbury because obviously my dad was so invested in the club, and I didn't think I was ever going to leave. But just as they did say to us,
drinking drugs.
And girls came along, you know what I mean? And that was it. I stopped playing.
So what age did you stop playing?
I stopped playing when I was my 18th birthday. I went on tour to Scotland. We played against Edinburgh and Musselburgh and whatnot. And then when I came back, probably 19 years old, I stopped playing, I think.
I mean, thank God for rugby because because when you're fat, when you're really, really fat, you're invisible to a certain extent, but you lose your identity.
Yeah, oh, totally.
I mean, when you look at your face, like it's a very, very nice looking face.
Yes.
But when it's covered with blubber,
oh, mate,
you don't even look like you.
No, you
don't even know you haven't got the looks that you're blessed with.
No.
You just look like another blob.
You do.
And so anybody that wants to start recognising themselves, that's good incentive to lose weight because you don't really know what you look like until you lose weight.
Two different complete. When I'm fat and when I'm skinny, mate, I'm too complete. I go from Uncle Fester to. I'm not going to go Vin Diesel. We'll say Matt Lucas. I'll go from Uncle Fester to Matt Lucas.
Go Vin Diesel.
Okay, then.
Go Vin Diesel.
Right, okay. Matt Lucas to Vin Diesel. That's the difference is. So anyone that wants to look better, if you're currently fat, because I try and say, if you're overweight, look, if you're fat, you could be a very good looking person underneath there, but you have to get there. You have to push yourself to the 10 stone. If you're a man, get yourself to 11, 10 stone, and you'll see your max potential. If not,
fucking, I'd look ill at 10, 11.
Would you?
Yeah, I'm about 14 now, but I was 18 too only 24 months ago.
Yeah.
And what you have to be honest with yourself as well. When you're sitting there at 18.2 stone,
yes,
you may be laughing and joking and being the center of attention. You're not happy inside.
No, you're not me.
Like the outside image is a great representation of how you truly feel. You look like shit. I guarantee.
Yeah.
You feel like shit. And it ain't a nice place to be, but it is good incentive to think, shit, I've got to make a change.
Big time.
Because you've obviously gone full circle again, but you've had a wobble.
There's ups and downs,
like any other human being. So from quitting the rugby, I'm assuming that's because your features were then on display.
Yes.
So women are now attracted to you.
Yeah.
Robin Armstrong's face is like, hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here.
Yeah.
So women are interested in you. You're obviously, that's reciprocated. You're interested in them.
Yeah. Just lost me weight and became a young lad for the first time.
Out and about in the town.
Yeah, all that mate.
And Newcastle, the party scene is unbelievable.
Oh, wild.
It's the best fun.
Wild.
It's one of the best places in the country. Wild. And the people are great. I for the record, I love a Geordie. I think I even said it with Tom. Absolutely love Newcastle.
Yes.
Love it. So So you've gone from fat kid, rugby, found yourself, you look different.
Yeah.
Then you're there, England trials, and then obviously something has changed.
Yes, I'll tell you exactly what changed. So when I got 15 years old, my mum decided to move from Newcastle, from Gateshead. So my mum said, one day she announced, I'm moving to Berwick upon Tweed. And I was like, well, I can't move to Berwick upon Tweed. And my mum was shocked by that, but obviously that was where she was wanting to go. So when she left, I got in touch with my dad and was like, look, my mum's moving to Berwick.
How far is that from Newcastle?
Berwick's about an hour and a half drive, I would say. It's Scotland, so it's like Newcastle, Scotland.
Yeah, that's a long way. But especially for a 15-year-old kid.
Middle of my GCSEs, terrible time to move. We fell out with each other because of it, but then obviously we'll speak to each other now. Like, just mum, it wasn't a long-term thing, but it was actually. Fucking bastard mum moving away spoiled my life. Right, so my mum moved away. Now I was always quite a quiet. I was always funny. I say the funny kid at school. Always dead polite. I've always been nice, mate. I'm never nasty to anybody unless you've been nasty to us. So I was quite vulnerable when my mum moved away. And then I tried to I was going to live with my dad, but my dad obviously had his own life with his wife and stuff. So he was like, you're not living here. So I had to get my own place. My dad bought us a flat, but I wasn't ready to live in a flat by myself. So this is why I turned, because when my mum moved away, I was very much a mammy's boy, mate. I was a fat, lazy mammy's boy, and she'd done everything for us. So when she moved away, I wasn't prepared to live by myself. So what I'd done was, in order to have people around us, I would throw these mad parties, like I'm talking American Pie mad parties. But this obviously was the downfall of my dad's relationship with us, because he paid for the house that I lived in, and I needed people to be around. I didn't realize how needy I was until my mum left. So when you're 16-year-old, mate, and you're sitting by yourself in a house, I was like, I wasn't ready to live by myself.
There's no greater love than a son and a mum.
Oh, mate, nothing.
It's powerful.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm a mummy's boy.
Yeah. So to lose that.
Proud as well.
Oh, proud me.
I'm proud of it.
Fuck me.
Me
you know
neither.
what I mean? That's what that's for. So when my mum left, it left a big hole in my heart. In me, the person I was, I had to adjust, mate. For instance, I didn't start drinking until I was like 15 years old, mate. I never even thought of it. I was totally anti-drink, anti-smoke. Drugs wasn't even a fucking question. If someone said drugs, I would go, fucking yeah. I'll give them a lecture of how bad
junkie.
It is. Aye, if you were smoking a tab, you were a junkie in my eyes. That's how bad it was. Smoking a cigarette, you're a fucking heroin addict in my face, because I've been drilled into us. But when my mum left, my personality, it was a shock. It was a culture shock, really, because I was like, right, I'm by myself. Now I have to pay bills. I have to do this overnight, mate, from going and sitting playing fucking wanking over Max Payne to fucking sitting having to pay my own bills and buy shopping, and I wasn't ready for that. So I had to adjust. So what I started to do was, this is where the drugs and drink came into it. This is where I started fucking everything up.
At the age
17, I'd say.
17 now.
Aye. So I lived by myself from then, got my own flat. My dad set us up with a job in one of his businesses. I was an electrician for a year. But I wasn't qualified to be an electrician. My dad was like, what do you want to do when you leave school? Having ADHD when you were younger, it was too early to tell anyone what it was. So I couldn't explain to me very wise, scary dad what I wanted to do. I couldn't even give him a slight, as he was like, what do you want to fucking do? Do you want to be a fucking bricklayer? Do you want to have a trade? And I was like, I don't know. And that was, I used to send him insane.
And the last thing somebody of ADHD needs is 101 options.
Aye, mate. Like, ones you don't like the sound of as well. Do you want to be a roofer? Scared of fucking heights? No. Do you want to work on the roads? I'm like, I'm scared of the cold? No. I'm scared of most things when it comes to physical labour. So eventually my dad was like, look, I've got your job as an electrician. And I was like, electrician? And he was like, yeah, you've got to start work on Monday. So I never got the chance. When you leave school, you normally get 6 weeks off. Then you'll start looking at unis and whatever, colleges. I never got that time off to be a kid. I went from school on the Friday to work on the Monday. I left school, started work, and I wasn't clever enough to do it, mate. My GCSE results, like, I got the fucking maths grades were like F. I failed miserably. From failing your GCSEs to then going to do electrical science, trigonometry, there was no way I could do it. So what I'd done was, when I would go to college, I would cheat. I would copy off the kid who sat next to us called Craig. So at the end of every semester, I would have to do an exam. And I would sit next to Craig and just go like this and copy off everything. Now, my dad was...
Shout out to Craig.
Shout out to Craig. No, I'll tell you what happened at the end. Craig doesn't like us anymore for this. So,
fuck you.
Fuck you, Craig, you grass. Right? So, I'm fucking... I cheated all my exams, right? Which is dangerous, mate. If you cheat an electrician's exam, it's dangerous. But if you pass and you get in a house and you fucking grab a wire and kill yourself, it's because you cheated in your exams, right? So, I successfully cheated all the way through. And then... on the final exam of the year, this was to get your first year qualification, right? I goes into the exam room and they put the exam room into booths. So instead of it being an open plan table where I could just sit and copy, they put loads of big booths, right? So I was like, what the fuck's this? So I sat in my booth. Craig was miles away. I couldn't see him, right? And when I sat down, I was like, hey, Brian, what the fuck's this all about? Like, why is the booths? He's like, oh, just so people can't cheat. And then Brian moved out of the way and my dad is sitting with the tutor. No one else's dad's sitting with a tutor. My dad is sitting with a tutor in the college, right? Just before I'm about to do my exam. So I was like, I pretended I didn't see him and went back in the booth and I was like, oh my fucking God, why is my dad here? And then Brian came over to the tutor and said, listen, you're probably wondering why your dad's sitting over there. Now, my dad's a fucking 20-odd stone monster, right? So I was like, I am Brian. Why is my dad's in the exam board? He went, well, there's suspicion that you've been cheating. So before I'd started being an electrician, my dad contacted the college and said, listen, my son's a bit flighty. If he does anything wrong, if he's lazy, if he cheats, whatever, you ring me straight away. I didn't know they'd made this deal, right? So my dad comes over at the table, puts his hand on my shoulder, nearly breaks it, right, and goes, so you're going to pass your exams, I was like, yes, of course I'm going to pass my exams. My dad goes back to the room. I start the exam. I didn't even put my name on the right line on the front of the paper, right? So I got no questions right. So this shows you that my knowledge was zero of electrical. Zero. I put my name on the wrong list, like a fucking absolute, I'm not going to use a bad word, made like the biggest idiot you could have ever imagined. So at the end of it, I was dripping of sweat, right? Dripping. I went back and my dad was literally looking in my eyes as the bloke was counting me results. He was like, you're going to pass, I? And he's a scary bastard, right? So I was like, oh, definitely going to pass. He's like, sorry, Rob, you failed. I was like, oh, I must have just failed. Nah, you didn't get a single question right. And my dad was like, so one of you have been so you've been fucking cheating. I was like, well, what's made you think this? I've been cheating. And he was like, well, Craig and you have got the same answers all the way through. So one of you have been cheating. I was like, well, it's obviously fucking Craig. I'm not fucking cheating. So then they brought the evidence out, made sure there's all of Craig's answers and all of my answers. And I was like, yeah, I put my hands up. And we fell out with each other and I lost that job. And then I went back to the gutter for a few years.
That's why we don't like Craig anymore.
Craig's a fucking, well, look at Craig, you're a clever boy. Thanks for letting us pass my first few exams. But in the end of it, he said that it was me who cheated.
Yeah, grassing's unacceptable.
Fucking grass, dirty grass. I hope he grabs it alive wire at some point in his life.
Yeah, me too.
And it kills him.
Yeah. and everyone else he knows.
Aye, mate. I hope his whole family cold hands. I hope they're doing a conga line and it just zaps one of the bastards. So that's what happened to me first ever job. And that's, was that the question? Did I go off on one there?
You probably did, but it was a nice one. You went off on a lovely tangent and it had a romantic ending. We wished Craig and everybody knows dead. That was nice. And then, and then you got into sales, didn't you?
Then I got into sales. So after I'd lost my job as an electrician, me dad, I was looking for a job and I just couldn't find one because my brain didn't, for instance, preparing a CV. Mate, when you're ADHD, the stuff I was putting on my CV was just not relevant to get a job. You know what I mean? Like, what are your hobbies? So I was like, oh, really love GTA. Love GTA because you can do this. The cars are really good. Like, just stuff you would just, like a fucking idiot would write a CV, mate. So I wasn't ever getting jobs and stuff. And then my dad eventually forgave us for obviously cheating, being an electrician for a whole year. And he went, listen, well, what do you want to do? Like, obviously you're fucking useless. My dad his pep talks were fucking vicious, right? Well, obviously you're fucking useless. So what are you going to do? You want to be a fucking cleaner or something? And I was like, I don't know what I want to do. And he was like, right, I tell you what. So he came up with an idea that I was going to be a recruitment consultant.
So that was your dad's idea?
Yeah, so he owned the agency, you see. He owned a big, successful recruitment agency.
I can see you being the best at that.
Oh, it was good. I run
a recruitment.
Yeah, I do. So I've done all of that. You see, I've done all of the interviewing process and filing and whatnot, and going on to different sites and taking the candidates in and doing inductions and stuff. But it took us a long time. For the first year and a half, I would make the teas and stuff. So when I first got sent in this job, I can say this now because I don't work there anymore. I walked in and there was a man who was 7'2", right? He was the longest man, like a fucking big bit of spaghetti, right? This big minging bastard called Muzzer. And he was my dad's director. My dad basically owned the business. He was one of the directors. So when I walked in, I noticed this huge 7-foot leather man, mate. He's a sunbed king, right? Like he must have went on 4 times a day, right? The kid was fucking, I thought he was a wooden statue when I first seen him, right? He was a real person. So when I walked in, I heard my dad call him Muzzy. He was like, oh, Muzzy, listen. And everyone was fucking obviously digging my dad's arse because he's the owner and who he is and whatnot. So I just assumed when my dad left that I could speak to this Muzzy the same as what my dad was. So I was like, oh, all right, Muzzy. When my dad left, and he was like, listen, don't call us out in front of people, right? And I was like, I'm all right, Muzzy. You know, like, I didn't give a fuck. And my dad's the boss. Turns out, like, Muzzy doesn't like being called this, right? No one calls him Muzzy other than my dad. He's a big, notorious bully, this 7-foot thing, right? So as I'm sitting doing my desk on the first day, I heard him go to this kid in the corner. Owen, you fucking stupid little cunt. Get around here now. So I was like, fucking hell, what did he just say to him there? So he went around, he was like, put your phone on the floor. So Owen puts his phone on the floor because he wasn't listening to him when he was talking to him, and he smashed his phone, stamping on a race. So I was like, what the fuck has just happened? From that day on, mate, he was the most abusive boss. It was like a fucking film, right? Like, you would never see it.
A bully.
Oh, really bad bully. And he was only a bully because my dad was his gaffer, really. He would never have bullied anyone else. In real life, he's just a fucking string bean. So it got really out of control, right?
Those corporate bullies are some of the worst.
Oh, the worst.
They're all psychological. They're all narcissistic. They're all
so bad.
Hiding some insecurity of themselves, and it just makes them project it so bad.
Big time. He was a cocaine addict, a steroid abuser, but his body was so long that the steroids wouldn't do anything anyway. It just got longer.
It just kept going up.
I mean, like a bean sprout, right? So
you got to work on your whip, Muzzy.
Like, do some fucking flies or something, for fuck's sake. He was useless. But yeah, he was a womanizer. So, for instance, when a woman would come in to get interviewed, if I was interviewing a woman and it was a good-looking woman or whatever, he would purposely interrupt, go, oh, excuse me, darling, are you all right? Let me know if that fat cunt says anything wrong, right? He's a fucking just a useless fat cunt. Like, that is literally what it would be like me. It was like to the point where one woman I was interviewing, he said something.
So had you gained the weight back by this stage then?
No, he just called the fat cunt for the crack. I'd lost me weight. I'd started losing me weight at this point. This is where, and then I stopped going to, like, I was heavy into me boxing and stuff like that until the time come I had enough and get him told. But it got so bad, mate, it was so bad in my job place. He was bullying everyone that much. Like, he would go, put it this way, he went to me one day, he went, listen, you fat cunt. Fat cunt was his favourite term to call us, right? He went, go to McDonald's, get me a fucking, if it was he wanted a breakfast meal, but didn't want any cheese on. So I went straight up, right? Oh, sorry, went and got him his food. I came back, and when he'd opened it, it had cheese on. And he said, what the fuck's there's a fucking cheese? I couldn't believe it, right? So I fucking stood up. I went, listen, I'll fucking set about you in a minute, you big daft bastard. I went, you need to fucking stop speaking to you cunt. And then he didn't like it, so he went out and rang me dad. But instead of ringing me, because I said, yeah, I'll fucking tell me dad that you've been shouting like this. Like, who you fucking told me? I've had enough of you. And he rang me dad, and when my dad came in for a meeting, he fucking convinced me dad. It was like the boy who cried wolf. He was going, Rob, he stood up and tried to embarrass me in front of everyone. Yeah, and I was like, no, that wasn't what happened at all. He was like, Rob, like, come on. And obviously my dad, because I'd lied, obviously, about several things in the previous years. Yeah. My dad was like, didn't believe whatever I said.
Doubted you again.
Yeah, he dealt with us. He was like, listen, I fucking do. Obviously, if I was doing that, I would have expected to be told off like I was. But I had enough of it. I was like, yeah.
And it's a shame because your dad being the big, strong, smart businessman, one way or another, he's been manipulated by
totally manipulated by
this guy.
But I don't blame him, like I say, because mate, when your dad's a big scary bastard, you do lie lots to them because you're fucking scared of them, you know what I mean? So I do understand why he assumed that what Muzza was saying was the truth. But then when eventually it turned out, it's cute when I'd left, because I fucking walked out the job, I got a plane to iron out, and I just didn't come back. I just fucking partied life away. But I'll build up that.
So the drug abuse and the drinking and the partying, like the American party style parties, was that all whilst you were working in recruitment?
Yeah.
Because that isn't going to work.
No.
Because the recruitment is high pressure.
It is.
You've got to be thinking real quick off your feet, and you've got to be clear-headed. So if you mix that with like a hangover or a come down, or whilst you're actually in the eye of the storm, out of your fucking tits.
Yeah, stress, mate.
You're gonna implode.
Oh, it killed us. It literally killed us. It was the time when MCAT came out. Can you remember MCAT?
I never delved.
So MCAT was, I was like, I say 18 years old, and I was anti-drug. I didn't try a drug until I was like 18 years old. I was like, nah, I don't like them. I don't want to do them ever. What happened was I got a phone call off your pal saying you need to come down to this pub where people who I didn't get along with were down there. So the intention was we're going to go down to this bar and have a fight with them. It was in a Jolly Miller, it was called, in Gateshead. So when we've turned up with this bar and we've seen all the people we didn't get along with, I was looking across to them, getting full of vodka, and I thought, right, we're going to fight these kids here. And then one of them came over and said, oh, do you want to try this bubble? And I was like, fuck off, out we face for a fucking dots. You want like bubble? I'm not trying that drug. And they're like, no, this is legal. This is legal. I was like, what do you mean legal? Like,
what's a bubble?
Bubble was, so MCAT was nickname for MCAT was bubble.
Right, okay.
It was plant fertilizer.
That come well after, I'm 10 years too old for that.
Yeah, 2000s, it was late 2000s this was, like 2000 and fucking 12 or 13 or something like that. So I was like, when I'd seen that it was legal, I needed proof first. They got it up on the phone. He was like, this is the shop that sells it, £5 a gram. And it was a big old gram. This is the receipt. So in my head, I'm like, well, it's legal. It's harmless. It's not a drug. I'll have a little go. Mate, the worst thing I could have ever done. I had one little key of this plant fertilizer. MCAT, mate, right? And it was fucking the best thing I've ever. It was like, it hit us, and instantly the people who I was at the bar to go and have a fucking battle with, I was like, they were basically my boyfriend. I was like, yeah, come here. Come here. And he was on it as well, and we're like, yeah, forget about everything. And what I'll like, mate, I think it's called plant fertilizer because your hands actually start to photosynthesize or like this towards the sunlight, you know what I mean? I was like this. And then before you knew it, I had 100 of them, me flat. All my enemies were sitting with us, and we were best friends.
All sitting in a circle.
All like this, sweating. Like,
looking at max power.
I wanking over max power all the way. But that was it, mate. That one hit of this legal substance that in my head, if it's legal, it can't be dangerous. The effect was so powerful on my brain. I needed to more and more. So from then on, it was like, right, every weekend we'll all go, because it was £5 a gram, mate. If you spent £100, you'd get yourself a few fucking kilo, you know what I mean? We would go to parties, we would have piles of it like this big on the table because it was legal.
Do you know what? I don't, of all the people I've spoke to about drugs, because I'm interested in I'm interested in where it takes people, because it doesn't normally take people to a good place.
Yes.
Eventually.
Oh, of course.
It takes you to space initially, and you're absolutely tuned to the moon and you're loving life. But in the long run, it doesn't normally take you to a good place. So I'm interested in at what point it fucked them. I don't know anyone that started on MCAT.
Yeah.
So this is interesting.
And it was the first. So MCAT was the first one, like I say, and it was legal. And then I had a load.
So you done that before you smoked path, done amphetamines?
All of that.
Straight at MCAT?
Yeah, straight
because
MCAT.
it was legal, thought it was okay?
I thought it was safe. And then because the same shop was called Card Bar in Newcastle. So it was a pizza shop that sold these drugs. Right, so you had Happy Pizza. There's people tell you about
real happy,
right? Oh, the happiest. So I'm not kidding you when I say this. You could get legal high poured onto your pizza. That's what this shop was like. So it was across the road from the nightclub. So when the nightclubs would finish, everyone would head to Happy Pizza, whether that was for a pizza or some legal highs. So when I sampled this fucking MCAT, I was like, fucking hell, what the fuck was that? That was great. And they're like, oh, come to the shop. They sell loads of different legal highs. So before you know it, we're getting loads of salvia and all these mad drugs that were all legal.
Salvia.
That's
another one.
Mate, salvia, man. So the first thing I tried was MCAT. Then we tried a salvia pipe.
MCAT to sniff it, there.
I sniffed it, but it was like glass.
Yeah.
It smelled like cat piss. And it would come out of your pores instantly. It was all the baddest. Yeah, fuck me, it was disgusting. Then salvia, I had a salvia pipe, and my fucking friend turned into a Lego block in front of my eyes, and that was the end of that.
So that's hallucinogenic.
Hallucinogenic, aye. So
and you smoke it as if you were crack.
Smoking you can smoke it. Well, see, you smoke it like a ball rather than crack.
Right.
But yes, not
that I'm insinuating that you smoke crack.
No, I've never. The only drugs I've never tried was like crack and heroin. You know, like the hard ones. But the rest of them, progressively, as my session days, as I met new people and stuff,
they evolved.
Yeah. It got out of control when I realised so the MCAT, because you would stay awake for days and days and days, and then eventually you like any other drug, you would get your tolerance would go up.
So is it like an amphetamine based?
Yeah, kind of like that. So basically, mate, it was instant love. Everyone was talking shit. Your body felt like it was constantly in like a lush spasm, tingly, yeah. But then obviously the government got news of it that it was getting sold in shops, and someone died. I think someone had to die before they could get rid of it.
Yeah.
So someone died, then they obviously banned it, and it started getting sold off drug dealers then for just a really short amount of time. Then eventually it just fizzled out. But that was the catalyst which started my mad drug journey, which made us eventually move away and live abroad and get a job working as I was working as so I lost my job, you see, and then I lost my second job with my dad. So I lost the electrician's job.
Yeah.
Went to recruitment. Then after 4 years, I had enough. And I went, fuck this, I'm gunning.
And in amongst the recruitment was the MCAT and the salvia.
Yes.
And then you went Iron Apple.
Yeah, Iron Apple.
And then it got really out of control.
So basically, what I'd found out, when I started fucking everything up and going off the rails, my dad owned my flat, you see, but he never ever come to it because we'd fell out with each other about the year before that. So he just gave us my flat and stayed out of the way. So obviously I had like fucking 200 people in the 2-bedroom flat, but it was a masonette. So it was an old person living there, me, old person, shared corridor. So to have parties made with a was a liberty, really, because it was like, you know what I mean? There's an old man, probably got PTSD off the war, and he's having to relive it every night because I was like, tunes pumping, didn't give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck, mate. And it was a shame because obviously if I'd been given that opportunity off my dad now and he sorted us out, obviously I'm an adult and I've been through my wild days, but like I'm talking, he had a 10 grand table that he'd give us out of his bed, out of his house in me flat, marble, fucking gladiator and pillars and stuff like that. So it was the fanciest table you ever seen. I didn't really want it. He just gave us it because he was getting new furniture. And we would open bottles on it, right?
Yeah.
So like smashing bottles on it.
You thought that's a good service for a bit of MCAT.
Yeah, I mean, this will be good for the MCAT. So, mate, it was fucking ruined, right?
Put a slug on there.
Another slug. And then if anyone wants a bottle opened, I put it on this 10 grand table. Bang, kicked the table, right? I didn't care because I was all over the shop.
It's enough to make you wince.
Wince. Oh, well, what a bit you wince for. What comes next? So I'm fucking sitting in the house, 200 people in my house, right? Fucking tunes blasting, fucking tables smashed, carpets are burnt, fucking my bedside cabinet snapped off and everything. Some lasses sick in the sink that has a plug in it, so it's full to the brim, so I have to put my hand and get it. The buzzer goes downstairs. No one presses me buzzer, man. I was like, that can only be one person. And everyone was like, who is it? Who is it? And someone went, some fucking Baldy bloke at your door. I was like, it's me dad.
You would have preferred the old Bill.
Oh, I would have preferred Al Qaeda to come running through the door, mate, right? So I was like, fuck. Everyone was running out of the windows and not jumping out to escape, right? And then eventually it was just me left and a smoking bong and all of the damage.
And a sink full of puke.
The bath's fucking got shit in it and that. And he'd spent like 50 grand doing it up, mate. So I do understand why he probably hates us for it. So he comes, he's walking in, and there was no escape. He can't get past him. Couldn't get past him on a football field, mate. He's that big, you know what I mean? So I was like, shit. And he kicked the bong, and the bong just went all over him. And I was like, oh my God, he's going to murder us. And then
and there's nothing worse than bong water.
Oh, nah.
Fuck me.
Minging. Like, back, it was disgusting. And I'm ashamed of how dirty I did make the flat, because after everything he'd done for us. And so then he sat us down and gave us the serious word. He was like, listen, this is the fucking crack. I'll never speak to you again if you do this. Do this and I will never speak to you again.
Did he ever grab you up?
Oh, well, not only once, but I deserved that as well. Years and years ago, I was in a bar and I went into this bar and I was only like 13 and this bar let us in and I stupidly went in and started being cheeky to some of the locals. Like, do you know who my dad is, sort of thing. I wish I didn't, but obviously a 13-year-old, your dad's who he is. That's just what happens.
Of course.
Stupidly, the people who I was trying to give a bit of grief managed to get a message back to my dad. So my dad, I was living at my sister's at the time, and my sister said, my first ever hangover, Sunday morning, my sister knocked us up and was like, your dad's in the garden. I was like, why? He never comes across this end. He lives in Newcastle. He didn't come randomly. He would only come on a Friday to get us Sunday morning in my garden. No reason. So when I come downstairs, I couldn't remember what happened the night before. I was like, what's going on? He was like, in the fucking car now. And I was like, oh my God. I had boxer shorts on, 18 stone, big tits, mate. Big tits.
Right. Nice.
Tits. Oh, nice tits. Big, perky,
as long as they're nice tits.
I know what I mean. I was a sex offender's dream, right? So he was like, in the car.
My old man would have loved you.
Oh, your old man would have shat us. Right? So my old man goes, come on, in the car. So I'm walking down. I was like, I'll just put my T-shirt on. He was like, in the car now. So I walked down. I walked down, I get in his car, I'm like that. Yeah. So my tits, covering my tits like a girl would be, like this, right? And he was like,
should have put your tassels on.
I should have. Like, what? What's going on? And he goes, hey, right, listen, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. And I was like, all right. And he says, obviously, if you lie to us, I'm going to slap you. And he's never slapped us before. And I was like, right. And I thought, right, obviously the next answer is going to be how I don't get a slap. And he was like, and if you tell the truth, I'm fucking still going to slap you. And I was like, well, trying to work it out in my head. So how do I not get slapped? You know what I mean?
Would it be okay if I went for the slap?
Is there a third answer if I don't get slapped? So I was like looking at, I put my head down and I looked at the car. I looked at the car door handle and he just went boop and locked the child locks on, right? Now I'm stuck in the car next to him. I'm 18 stone, I'm in my boxer shorts, my tits are all over. He's breathing in my face like this, questioning us. He was like, where were you last night? I was like, last night I was at Mark's house. Bang! First slap, pissed me pants, obviously terrified. I was like, right, I'll have to tell the truth from now on. Where were you? I was like, I was in the bar. 13-year-old me, I'm in the bar, deserve a clip, you know what I mean? So he was like, right, where's the fucking bar? And I was like, oh no. Why do you want to know where the bar is? He's like, take us to the bar. So I was like, shit. So he took us to the bar, which is on the busiest, on Sheriff Hill where I'm from, busy highway, main street, took us to the boy, went, get out the car. I got out of the car in my boxer shorts, 18 stone, holding me big lush tits, right? Go to the door, and he went, wait there. I was like, oh no. So now I'm standing on the busy highway in me boxers, pissed myself, tits are out, cars are beeping the horn, probably thinking I'm a brass working.
Wolf whistling, yeah.
Aye, wolf whistling. And then booing is. Someone even booed us, man. Drove past. Who boos a fat kid? That's the ultimate insult. I've ever been booed before, mate. Boo! What's that? Oh.
That's just jealousy.
Either way, boobs, they might be insane. Maybe because I drove off, I didn't get the bzz at the end.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So I'm looking through the window, and my dad obviously goes in and says, listen, my son was in here last night, fucking 13-year-old, and she said, oh, what can I get you? And that was enough to send him off, you know what I mean? So obviously I see them like, what can you get him? Fucking nothing, you cheeky bastard. He's a fucking child. Like, if he ever comes in here again, all that shit. And then I think just to annoy us, he got a drink. So I was looking for the window like that, waiting for him to come back out, you know what I mean? Like, oh, hey, I've learned my lesson, come out.
Oh, so he's
turned around with a drink, he was like that.
He's kept you outside while season having a bevy.
You know what I mean? So he was like that, and I was like, oh, my boxer shorts, mate, it was the worst. And he came out and he's like, right, come on, in the car. But he just had a way with, he's like, look at, because of who he is and stuff that happened years ago, he was like, you're a target. If someone recognised you, they could have come and got you. So I'm here to give you a life lesson. He would always give a big wad of cash after he'd tell us off. You know what I mean? You fucking little fat knob, there's hair blood. There you go, there's some money.
It's almost worth the slap.
I mate, it was. That's probably why I done it.
Yeah.
Cash. So that was a big learning curve for us about there. But he took us back in there. So I stood there for like 25 minutes and my tits out in the street. But I never done it again.
It makes me wish I was driving at the time when I drove past.
You could have had a look at my tits, man.
I would have got out and had a fucking squeeze.
You got with a tit wanked you off.
I wouldn't have booed you. I wouldn't have booed you.
Cheers on.
Oh, yeah.
And I would have let you do it now. I'll tell him just to make his point, you know what I mean? Shag him now.
He'd have had another baby. I'd have said, I won't, but my dad will.
My dad's just going to take him to the shop.
So, on that, Iron Apper.
So the reason I went Iron Apper is I fell out with my dad, I pissed him off, and he said to us, look, if I piss him off again, he's going to cut all ties. So I did. I pissed him off again immediately. So he was like, come down to the race course. His friends were Alan Shearer and my dad, you see, they're like best of pals now. So I went down to the race course, and he went, bring your house keys, because I lived in his house, like a flat. Bring your car keys, because I drove a car that he bought us. Bring your work fob, and another key, I think was for the security gate on the where he worked. So I took them all down. He went, yeah, there's your last wages, gives me last wage from the business, for the recruitment company. There's your last wage. Took the keys, give him all my keys back. He went, right, go on, fuck off. And then never spoke to us ever again. 11, that was 12 years ago now.
And you've not spoke since?
Never again.
Fucking hell.
I was, obviously you can imagine you think you're going to speak to your dad again. Like I was thinking, a few weeks later, 6 months later, a year, and then I was like, fucking hell.
Oh, there's being stubborn and then there's...
Oh, there's stubbornness. So it is, I mean, like it's...
Was there anything else you've done?
No, honestly.
For him to like cut you off like that?
So I'd get in trouble. The only reason, like I say, I'd get in trouble in town. And because like I said, I didn't drink till I was about 16-year-old. And then when I started drinking, the only drink I liked the taste of was vodka. I couldn't drink cider and I made it sick. So I would drink vodka and Boost. And I'd get like, before I would go out to save money, I would get a 35 CL or the bottles of vodka and naggin.
Yeah.
And I'd pour that into a bottle of Boost. So I'd pour half the Boost out, pour the naggin in. Because me drink levels obviously were pathetic because I didn't ever drink my whole life. Once I'd finished that bottle, mate, I was the devil. I was a monster. So when I'd go out and get into trouble in town, if a doorman would start getting the best of us or whatever, or if I was getting ganged up on, I'd be like, my dad's, whoever, I'd say my dad's name in there, they'd all back off. And I used to think it was great because I was a young kid thinking, my dad's this person and stuff. Not realising that every time I did use my dad's name, they would ring my dad up and tell him. And then my dad would be like, fucking stop using my name when you go to the town and that, you know what I mean? But we had 17-year-old, just found drink. So I burnt a lot of bridges by saying his name in places where I shouldn't have said. Going to nightclub doors and saying, let me in for fucking free and that, and I'm Rob's son, you know what I mean? Which was my own fault. But I had to go through them years. And
maybe he's still teaching you a lesson now.
It's a long lesson.
It's a fucking hell of a lesson.
I'm fucking looking forward to break time, mind. It's fucking 28 years of this fucking shit going on. So
over a decade of silence.
A decade, mate. My sister's, it's hard because my sister's still friends with them and stuff like, and I haven't got a bad way to say it. My dad is what I would aspire to be like. I would love if I was half the man he is, you know what I mean? But I burnt a lot of bridges. I just haven't had the chance to speak to him about the bridges that I burned because they were never burned maliciously. Got burnt accidentally because of me stupid brain.
Well, at 33, you're a long time dead, so who knows?
Yes.
And the fact that you're forgiving, because
of course.
you could quite easily think, well, you know what, you've proved your point, fuck you.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're like, you know what, I was in the wrong, you can't be wrong and strong.
Yes.
When you open the door again, I'm ready to walk back through it.
Yes.
So there's something there.
When he did cut the ties, you see, because then after that, what I should have done was he told me sister, he said, all he had to do was apologise for the way he was going on, don't have house parties, he was going to get us a new car, get us a new job, and he wouldn't let it go. But obviously me being a fucking idiot, went into panic mode. I just went, right, fuck it. I seen two of my friends were working in Iron and mate, 17-year-old, you see Kevin and Perry go large and all that shit, working abroad, mate, drugs, girls and drinking, all that shit. That's all I could think. I was 17. So I rang my pal, I was like, I want to come and work abroad. They were like, mate, it's so good. Now, one of my friends who was there, Louis, he's a fucking handsome half-caste, looks like Chris Brown. All the girls fancy him. I was very much still a chubby Baldy, receiving Baldy, I wasn't a typical go-to-town, ripped to bits kid who fucking likes to hover around girls with cocktails and stuff. I used to just fucking get loads of drugs in us and get loads of drink and get into fights and stuff.
Yeah.
But my friend who was an Iron Abba, he was built for that shit, mate. Looked sexy. All the girls coming over to him, getting people at the clubs. I was never like that.
At the time, he was Instagrammable.
Yes.
You weren't.
I wasn't fucking, mate. I wasn't even invited to family photos. I was minging, man. So, you know what I mean? I didn't fit in with him, mate. But I just seen that his life looked great and I just assumed mine would be similar. So I packed up and fucking flew over to Iron Abba. And when I got there, I really soon realised that it wasn't for me.
And so was your intention, I'm going to go there and be a holiday rep?
Yeah, that was what it was. So I said, how would you make your money? He said, mate, we're working a great club. You just stand in the street sometimes. You'll stand on the beach, pass tickets out, said doddle.
Because again, I can see you be about... So all the things that you've done...
Yes.
Up to now, I can see in my head that you would be fucking excellent at that.
Oh, I think the only thing I didn't have, had the charm, had the crack, had the bant, was I wasn't your stereotypical looking, like a kid. I've got my dad's frame, we've got a barrel chest, a baldy head, fat arse. My dad hasn't got a fat arse, like.
I've got a big fat arse.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I didn't have this, the clothes, the trendy clothes that changed over the years, I never seemed to fit them.
Yeah, same.
I looked shit.
You know
what I mean?
There was no skin tight chinos for me.
No, I couldn't wear them all. So I just didn't look like a typical cool club rep with the kid.
We're sort of shaped a bit like a woman.
Similar. Aye, it's very like a woman.
Yeah,
you know
a bit shaped like a woman. Yeah, like the
clitoris and that.
Hair shape, yeah. It's to streamline the hairy pussy.
I've got the flaps and that. I was more shaped like that. So when I got there, I did try to hang out as long as I could because I remember my dad was and everyone, my mum that was saying, you'll be straight back. And I was like, I'm fucking warned, I'm going to be there for the whole season. I only managed like 6 weeks or something. But when I was there, I got into trouble like all the time because I was arguing with all the kids. Because when I was sitting with these cool club reps and that, they'd yell and giving little bits of grief to us and stuff because I didn't fit in. And it sent us fucking west, mate. I ended up losing all my money and I got a job at the shittest bar in the whole of Iron Abba. It was the furthest away from everything. And there was a man called Mr. Fish. He was a Cypriot, this little fucking wanker, right? And when I first went up, he was like, hey, are you looking for a job? I was like, yes. And he went, do 50 press-ups then. And he was like with 2 girls. And I was like, 50 press-ups, why? And I was like, oh, I'll just do it, part of the joke. So I got down, done the press-ups and he was like, okay, you can have a job. And I had a little bit of laugh and carry on. And on the way back to the hotel, I was like, was he doing that to take the piss out of me out there, lasses there? Or was he just doing it as a joke? So later on, I went back to this club. This is when I realised I was going to have to leave. And I was working in this back alley and he shone a laser pen in my face from miles away. And he came over, he's like, what are you doing? You're talking to people for too long. And I was like, I don't understand what I'm doing. You know, well, fucking no one's coming in the bar. And I was like, because your fucking bar's shit. It's at the end of right at the end of a back alley. And he pushed us, so I just fucking knocked him out right straight away and bang. And I realised Mr. Fish just happens to be very connected in Iron Abba, so I went back to my hotel.
Wasn't that Mr. Fish?
Mr. Fish, aye. Mr. Fish, and I'd fucking spark him clean. He's only a little fucking Cypriot thing, so I'd spark him clean out immediately. And then I ran for my life, mate. And
he was little, but his phone book was big.
Oh, he was Mr. Fish, but his phone book was Mr. fucking...
Shark.
Mr. fucking Killer Whale, aye. You know what I mean? So I just took off. I couldn't take it anymore, mate. I didn't blend it. Me good-looking pal was spending these days around fucking luxury villas and stuff because he was getting invited to the elite parties where I was fucking having to ask people for a lend of €2 and that so I could get myself some fucking ham to make a sandwich to survive.
Being young is cruel. It's cruel in the sense that if you don't... Because it's all about, you know, youngsters aren't stimulated psychologically or mentally when they're older. Conversation does fuck all for a youngster. Yeah. It's all about aesthetics.
Aesthetic.
How you look.
Yeah.
Are you cool? Because I remember kids at school that were the coolest kids.
Yes.
Because they look great. Get a bit older when personality is important. Absolute fucking hand pumpers.
Oh,
like,
totally.
God, you're boring.
Yeah.
It's a good job you're good looking.
Yeah.
Otherwise you'll be fucked.
Aye, mate. Exactly.
Yeah. Which is where you have absolutely come into your own.
Yes.
I
I had to adjust big time. It was a big eye opener. I felt worthless when I got there because I was like, I'd built up such a good reputation of being the party king in where I was from. Because at 17, it's very rare 17-year-old has their own place to live. Never mind the one that your rich dad's kitted out. Like I had a fucking 80-inch telly, I had a 50-inch fire that I pressed a button and it would go and fucking it would light up and stuff. It was like a luxury apartment, you know. So to have that as 17-year-old was like, mate, it was like a dream come true. I had a car, a bachelor party. I'd have the biggest, maddest parties. I was the most popular kid by a fucking mile because I was having the parties. I was the host. When I got to Iron Abba, that suddenly that was gone. It was no one knew who I was. I was no longer anything.
Lost your status.
I'd lost my status. I didn't look like these guys. I wasn't known to be tough by these. Like my circle of friends, I was known to be quite tough because I would go out and would get into trouble all the time. Now in this new place I'm at, doesn't matter if you're tough. You fucking doesn't mean anything over there. You're probably a wanker if you're tough over there.
Yeah.
I wasn't skinny like the other ones. I couldn't wear the Iron Apple vests and stuff.
Did you still identify as a goth?
No.
So you dropped that by then?
I was only goth for about 7 months. Me first year secondary school, I dropped the goth thing as fast as I could for it.
Yeah.
I needed to
I won't mention that again.
No, you got
done.
It's a dark days.
like the eyeliner.
Aye, just like the eyeliner, mate. I was bullied to the in fact, you know what it is? For the people that bullied us when I was a goth, I don't fucking blame you.
Yeah, fair play.
I deserved it. If it wasn't because of them, I wouldn't have got sculpted into the person I am.
Bought it on myself.
Yes, I did fucking deserve it.
Yeah, so you come back from Iron Apple and then...
Come back from Iron Apple, right? So I didn't want to come back, but by the end of it, I stretched it out as long as I could. I was probably about 4 weeks. After the first 3 weeks, I wanted to come home, but I knew everyone, as I dropped my whole world, mate, I dropped my house, my car, I didn't have anything left. And I knew my family would have been like, you fucking... I told you you would have came back. So I hung out for another 3 weeks and then I whacked Mr. Fish. And we got into I had no money left. I had not one penny. So I had to ring my mum to bail us out. My mum had to get a lender some money off a friend because my dad didn't speak to us anymore. And she managed to get me flight money back home. So I moved back home and started sofa surfing for a few years, living on pal settees and all that. So
when you come back from Iron Apple, you was what, 18, 19?
Yeah, I think I was about 19-year-old when I came back from Iron Apple. I think I was. I mean 20. Something like the early 20s.
So we're now in your 20s.
Yes.
And you're now sofa hopping.
Sofa hopping, I
still on the drugs?
Yeah.
Still on the drink?
I was living at my friend's mum let us live in their spare room for about 6 months. But I think I took advantage of it really because I was like, it was a lovely family household. Like my family growing up were never really a family, you know, like I
sit around the table on a Sunday. Yeah.
But I didn't have that, so I fell in love with it.
Crave it.
I loved it, man. My friend's mom was lovely. Her dad, like if you were ever sad, the dad would sit you down and give you a motivational speech that would make you feel lush afterwards. And his mom would always make lovely dinners, and they felt like my mom and dad.
Do you know what? What you just said there, it resonates with me so heavily.
Yeah.
That there's no shortage of motivational speakers on the internet nowadays, but how many of them actually mean it?
Yeah.
And how many of them have actually lived it?
Yeah.
And how many are just reciting, regurgitating bullshit that they've heard somebody else say?
Of course.
When you get somebody that means it, this is sort of my journey now. This is what these are all about.
Yeah.
When you've got the ability to actually share some useful information and share a mistake that you've made and pass that baton on to somebody so they don't make it and all they do is put it to good use.
Yeah.
Not only is it powerful for the person delivering that motivational speech, if they mean it, but the recipient. Mm-hmm. So you've said how much it meant to you and how important it was to you to have someone that cares say, Robin, I see you down. Yeah. This is how we can build you back up. Mm-hmm. And it's great that you say that. It just...
it was lovely, mate. But you didn't have to. It's very rare that a friend their parents would say, you come and live with us. There was no question asked. When I came back to the scene, I was all over the place. Didn't know what I was going to do. I was having to move back with my sister. I didn't want to live there. And then they put us up. But I say that they would feed me water is for 6 months it lasted. But by the end of it, mate, I was too settled in.
Too comfy.
I was too comfy. My friend still lived there. He just got a girlfriend. And he was wanting to bring her back and steam her in his bed. Obviously, he's big fucking...
You're in there with max power.
I was in there max power wanking. And then got to the end.
Just ain't going to work, right?
So I should have volunteered to leave.
By this stage, how many pages were available to turn over?
By the end of it, it looked like the Max Power book was like 1,000,000 pages because it's stuck together that much, you know what I mean? So now the internet was out. I didn't have to wank over Max Power magazines. I would go on maxpower.com.
Yeah, happy days.
You know what I mean? But I was obviously on their Wi-Fi, so it was getting a bit out of control. So my pal got a girlfriend and he was like, look, like, I really love you and that, mate, but like, I've got a last man now. And I was like, look, you don't have to explain. I've probably stayed here 5 months too long. It's been a good ride. Like, do you know anyone else that wants us to live at their house? Yeah. So that was where I knew I had to get out. So I went and got myself my first little flat because I was working. I went from...
Yes, what were you doing for money?
So I came back from Iron Apple. When I came back from Iron Apple, I knew I needed a job. I couldn't go back and beg to my dad because I burnt that bridge and then fucking pissed on the bridge and fucking shit on it and everything else.
You put gasoline on it.
Oh, gasoline, bait, jumped in it, set on fire, threw someone's bin, and it was bad. So I knew I couldn't go back there.
It was an inferno.
Oh, mate. All hell was... I'd cause all
It looked like hell.
Yeah, it was. I was living in hell. But I've been rescued by Mother Teresa, and it was all lovely, mate. And then they basically sat us down one day and said, look, we've loved basically helping you heal, but you need to get a job now. And I was like, okay, like, fair enough. They've fucking exposed us. I've had free rent for 6 months, steak dinners. Now I need to stand on my own feet. So I went to a job agency. I'd worked in one previously. I knew a bit about them. I went to a job agency and I went in. I said, look, I'll do anything. I just need to pay me friend's mum some money because she's looked after her for so long. Like, I'll do anything. I was hoping for a production operative job or a packer job. I wasn't hoping. That was the only one I was going to get offered.
You're more reliable than the packers we deal with.
Oh, mate. I was much worse than that.
Guarantee I'll be there 2 days out of 5.
You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. I love it. I do packing as a hobby. Like, that's the kind of shit I filled them with.
Yeah.
When I got there, they said...
Love packing.
Oh, packing.
Packing's my favourite.
I am. Like, packer is what... I've got packer tattooed on my arm, actually.
Do you want to watch me pack now?
I actually passes on me. I'll pack it in. I'll pack it in, should I? So, I went in and...
Packers watching this are going to fucking hate us.
I used to give packers jobs. I was once the packer master, so I used to be able to give people packing jobs, but when they realised I wasn't fucking clever enough to be a packer, they were like, how are you interviewing me? You haven't got a fucking clue how to spell your own name, you know what I mean? So I went there and they said, look, there's no production jobs or packing jobs for the next few weeks, but there is a job across the road at the call centre. It's Sky. And I was like, fuck it, if it's starting today, I'll start. So I went across to this call centre and they walked in and they were like, this is the job here. And I was like, this is fucking sweet. Aircon, building. I'm interested in Sky Telly. I watch Sky Telly. In a typical call centre, it's normally gas and electric and stuff like that, where you hate, and it's normally outbound calls. So if you work in a gas and electric outbound call centre, mate, your schedules ring 1,000 people a day, try and get one lead. You hung up on every single call. But Sky's inbound sales, so they ring you, and they'll ask for telly, so it's fucking, you're getting the sale given you know what I mean? So they ring up, what do you like to watch on telly? Have you got kids? Oh, well, you're going to want the Disney Channel. Oh, you like the Disney Channel? What's your favourite Disney Channel programme? Just all that shit. So I went in, done a trial, and I ended up working there for 4 years. But this was peak drug time, like fucking the MCAT days was rife at this point.
I was going to say, again, this is something else that you're now doing that I can see you being exceptional at.
Oh, aye.
And there seems to be a common denominating theme that keeps fucking your chance of excelling. The drugs.
Well, I couldn't afford them back when I first used to try the MCAT and stuff at 17. It was so cheap. That was probably why we got on it, because we could afford it. Then when I got my job in the call centre and whatnot, you would get it was like £1,400 a month plus your bonuses, which was very easy to achieve in a call centre because all you had to do was add HD onto someone's package and you get $250. If you got someone to take the movies, you get $150. So if you'd done a really well month, you could come up with an extra $2,000. So I was making quite a bit of money, like for me back then, and I had a flatmate living in my flat with us, so I had half the bills.
So at this stage, you've now got a flat of your own, and you're renting out a room, so you're getting some of your rent paid as well.
Yeah, but they worked with us at Sky, you see. So the downfall, they worked in the same facility.
So you lived and worked with them.
Yeah, I lived and worked with them, which was fine. But it was fine until I was like, look here, I'm back from Iron Hour here. I was the king of the parties once upon a time. I've had a bit of time off. I'm ready to be the king of the parties again. In a gaff that my dad doesn't own. So it was my own.
And now you've got a nice few quid.
I've got a nice few quid. I've got a new gaff.
Lost weight.
Lost weight. My dad couldn't come in my house because it wasn't his. I've been fucking session away, mate. I was ready to rock again. Much bigger place.
Max Power's in the bin now.
Max Power's in the bin.
The new you.
The new use, yeah, mate. I was the biggest scumbag in the fucking call centre by far, mate. Call centre people tend to be university graduates who've got a little part-time job. They're all like well-spoken people, go to college, university. I was a fucking stone cold chopper, right? So when I went in there and I had a sales background, I thought this is quite a doddle. Then the drugs started taking over, mate, and I mean, whoa, I was on it. I was taking coke and sniffing coke on my desk sometimes, right? It was getting out of control. And then I started calling in sick quite a bit.
That's completely out of control.
Oh, out of control. I was like, 2 seconds, I'll put you on hold there. And I was back on, and my boss would be like sitting across this, like looking at how stuff on my nose, and he was like, I'm fucking telling you, if you're doing what I think you're doing, you have. I'm not, well, I'm not. And then one day they had
Did you say to him, what the fuck did you think I was doing?
I just smelling my desk.
Yeah.
Spilled some gravy. I was just sniffing it up. So it got out of control with me, boss. So I'll tell you a funny story when I was working at the call centre. So I ended up having, in total, I had 12 final warnings, right? Which is unheard of.
Well, because you are obviously an exceptional seller, the stats don't lie. Yeah. So if you're a good seller, you get away with blue murder. That's why you had most people, their final warning is an opportunity to get rid of them the next time.
Yes.
They wanted to scare you.
Yeah.
Please don't go, but can you not sniff coke off the fucking table?
Yeah.
This is your 12th warning.
So one day I'm sitting on the call centre, right? And I receive a phone call. So the call comes through, just the sales team. I was like, hello, you're through to Sky? And he goes, hello there. Am I through to the breaking news department? And I was like, the breaking news department? I was like, no, you're through to the sales department. He goes, oh, well, could you put me through with them? I said, I'm not quite sure how to do this transaction, so I'm just going to put you on hold. I put him on hold. I'll go to my manager. I've got someone on the phone who wants to report a breaking news story. He's like, well, we're the sales team. He goes, but find out what it is. So I was like, okay. So I was like, back on the phone. So I went, hello there. I went, unfortunately, you came through the sales department, but I will find them. Could you just tell us, obviously, what exactly the story is? And I'm looking at my boss like this. Everyone there's 500 people on the call floor, right? My team are all looking. And the guy goes, yeah, I don't want to tell you my name, but I'm a surgeon who works at blah, blah, blah infirmary, where Prince Philip has just been brought in, right? I was like, go on. And I'm going to tell you this, but I obviously want to report this, but I don't want to put my name down. Prince Philip is going to die tonight, right? So I was like, okay, so I'll put you on hold. So I put him on hold. I'll go to my boss. Come over here for a second, Daniel. And the boss comes over and goes, he's just told me he's a surgeon at the hospital where Prince Philip has just been brought in now, and he's going to die tonight. And he would like to make it a breaking story. And he was like, so, right? So I'm looking around now. He goes, he's in panic mode. My boss, he went, stay there. You went, stay there. Don't go back on that phone. So he goes and gets the other two higher up managers. Now they're all standing around the desk. They're all looking at each other. They're looking at me, right? And they're going, he goes, listen, Robin, you can't be talking about this outside of your mind. I was like, on my ma's life, man. I will not.
Sorry, mate. No. It's how casual.
Yeah.
You've relayed that message.
Oh, nah. I was
That's
like,
funny.
so I'm looking at, when I'm doing some medicine, right? When I'm doing medicine, my eyes wander and I look at people to let them know I'm doing it, right? So I was like, So he was like, don't, Robin. He was like, well, what else can we do other than tell him not to do it? You know what I mean? So I was like, I won't, man, I won't. And they're all going, one of them was like this, and his hand's like, oh my God. So he goes, look, Robin, there's actually a news department. It's basically in the basement of the Sky building. I had no idea, right? So I was like, really? So I unplugged my headset. The headset's still on, unplug the wire, and off I go down to the news department downstairs, basement. I get to the basement. I was like, where the fuck is it? There's a little tiny door, right? I thought this was a cupboard. For the first 4 years I've worked here, I thought it was a cupboard. I knock on the cupboard door. Fucking Ron Burgundy himself opens the door, right? Literally like a fucking news anchor, right? Ron Burgundy comes out, right? So I was like, what the fuck? So I'm looking past them like this, like, what? Yeah, I thought this was a cupboard. And none of them are laughing, right? They're all proper serious. She's like, yeah, what do you want? And I was like, so I've got a breaking news story. Someone's on the phone upstairs on me sales call. He was like, okay, what is it? I went, Prince Philip is going to die tonight. And he was like, what? I went, yeah, Prince Philip's going to die tonight. I've got the phone call upstairs. Are you interested? He was like, nice to meet you. His name was Hugh. Nice to meet you. My name's Hugh, head of director of blah, 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 Sky Media team. Let us come with you now. So all the people, all the Ron Burgundies, all the fucking actor men, right? They're all they were jealous that they didn't ask us first, right? So Hugh whisks us off me feet, takes us in the lift, sucks us off. No, he didn't really suck us off. Took us in the lift, right?
Squeeze your tits.
Squeeze me tits. Tell us more. Tell us more. So he takes his I take him to my desk, right? And obviously now, when I get to my desk now, I've come from downstairs. Now all the managers are there. There's about 10 of them here, right? And I'm looking at them all like, as if there was devil horns. So I'm looking at them like saying, they're going, don't you fucking dare talk about this. I was like, I won't, man. So I sit down, I take Hugh to my desk, I plug my headset back in, put it on his headphone. He's like, is it on? I was like, it will be any minute now. So I press it, go, and he starts talking. He's like, hi, Hugh, and I'm listening in, right? All the managers are all fucking biting their nails and that, right? I'm like this big smile waiting for him to finish on the phone. And he's like, yeah. And you're absolutely sure about this? He's like, if this comes off, Robin, you'll get a mention for this. This is big things, but I'm going to need you to not talk about this to anybody. I was like, on my Mars life, again, I will not talk about this. And I was like, looking to me pal sitting next to us, I was like, I can't wait to talk about this, right? So anyway, the call comes to an end. He takes me number and that down. He goes back down his floor. I get pulled into this office with a fucking full questioning room full of people, right? All of them are taking turns each of how bad it would be if anything gets mentioned. Now I was like, oh man, fucking hell. So the office where I worked was across the road from St. James's Park, literally facing it, right? So it's chocker a match day. So it's break time. I've been allowed out of the room now, right? I go on my break. So the second I leave the building, mate, I fucking sprinted to the bookies, right? And sprinted to the bookies. Ran in the bookies, right? Bookies is chocker. Match day. There's fucking loads of people putting football bets on. I managed to get through the queue and get to the front of the desk, right? She's like, can I help you? I went, yeah, I want to put a bet on. Right. This woman was like, oh yeah, what's it about? I went, I want to bet £5 that Prince Philip dies tonight, right? The whole place goes uproar, laughing their tits off, right? And I'm going, go on, laugh away. Jokes on me, yeah, jokes on me. Put the £5 on that. And she was like, I'm not quite sure. I'm going to have to ring the store manager first. So I'm like, no, put a £5 on quick. So she goes and rings the store manager. She's like, 1 second. She's like, hello. She's speaking overly loud so everyone can hear, right? She's like, yeah, got a bit of a strange one. She keeps on looking over her shoulder, right? Looking back at me, and I'm like, that. She goes, bit of a strange one. Got a lad here wants to put a bet on. Yeah, he wants to bet on Prince Philip to die tonight, right? And she goes, yeah, I thought that would be the case. So she comes back around. She's like, unfortunately, you can't actually put bets on people to die, especially the royal family. You'll probably have the fucking SAS bursting through your doors if it was to come true. So I was like, fuck. So I walked out the room, right? Everyone's laughing their tits off. And when I came out the bookies, all my bosses were across the road, right? Now, working at Sky, they used to try and promote Sky betting, you know, like the gambling fucking thing.
Like bet.com.
Yeah. So they had their own betting thing, and they would always try and promote it in the office, and I would always tell them, I'm not interested in gambling. I'm not. I don't understand it, right? So I'd always say, look, I don't fucking like gambling. When Cheltenham would come on, I don't get involved. If there's a match on, I don't ever go to the bookies. So why am I in the bookies, right? They were like, you never get involved in the gambling whenever we do it. So what you doing in the bookies? He was like, you better not have been there and said what I think you said. I was like, I didn't fucking say fuck all, man. So then I left and I just walked away in a huff. That was me trying to get out of the... I was like, oh, I'm going to slip up and say I've done something. I've just been in the bookies. I wouldn't have lost my job. So I was like, no, I haven't. I put it on them a bit, maybe a bit aggressive so they would leave us alone. And then I went back to work and said, no, about it, right? Had my head down. And the next day, he didn't even fucking die. I was like, the fucking useless bastard. The surgeons, you can't even trust the surgeons to give you a fucking to see. So they diagnosed him as dead. And then the next day, he didn't die. So at the end of the day, I saved a £5.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So then I was sacked from the call centre.
Was you sacked?
I was soon sacked after that. Like.
Oh, unbelievable. Well, it was so worth getting sacked.
Oh, it was a big one.
Because that's one of the best stories I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And it was delivered beautifully.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is fucking funny.
It could have been if it paid off and he did die, you know, got loads of money by it and ended up wealthy. What a way.
That's what I was sorry about. You deserve to earn a nice few quid out of that.
I did, like.
I'm surprised you only went for a £5.
I know, well, that's all I had.
Yeah. I would have done a whip round.
Oh, everybody.
Keep this to yourself. You don't have to say a fucking word. I need all your money.
So it was a bit of a disaster. But then again, I went straight back home, and this is where it went a bit twisted. So obviously, because I got sacked, I couldn't afford to pay me rent anymore. But I couldn't obviously leave where I was living because I had nowhere else to go. So now I'm in a bit of a battle with my landlord, who was like, look, he was a dentist, lovely man. His wife was lovely as well. And he was like, look, Robin, you're going to have to leave. You haven't paid rent like for 2 months. And My dad, if I'd spoken to my dad, he would have given us some proper, a man telling off and sort my life out. But my mum, being a proper counsel of the state man, was like, listen, you've got like 7 months before you could even get you out of there, so just don't go anywhere. And I was like, oh, he lives in my street, man. The landlord lives there. Imagine not paying rent for 7 months, which is a horrible move to do. But in a desperate situation, mate, I was willing to do it. I thought, yeah, fuck him. I'm going to have the biggest party in my life, and I'm just going to stay out for 6 months.
See how he likes that.
Aye, fuck him, daft dentist. So I thought, I'm just going to get on it for 6 months. So anyway, the most strangest things happened, right? I'm middle of party, and my landlord's tried us like 5 times that day.
And how old are you at this stage?
23, I'd say.
Right.
23. Useless as well. At me peak useless, yeah, by the way.
Yeah.
Most bad decisions were made around this time.
You were just walking around with the flamethrower.
Oh, mate. Burning my whole brains out. Every gun you can think, I had them in every orifice. So I was fucked, mate. And then I was mid-party, right? I was bang on the fucking... I'd been introduced to ketamine at this point, which was like the fucking devil, that shit, mate.
Horrible.
Oh, horrible. Yeah, I haven't touched any drugs for like a year now. I do them once a year, but I'll tell you what, we'll go up to that. So... I'm in the big K-hole, right? I was wriggling around me kitchen floor like a spider, right? Literally knocking things over and that. Everyone had left my house, and the landlord decides to pop round while I'm in the K-hole, right? Oh, mate. So I'd ignored his messages for like 2 months, and then due to my mum saying, they can't get rid of you for 6 months, man. Just fucking stay here for 6 months. He's obviously wanting the money for his flat. He comes walking in. I'm literally doing the spider on the floor, right? Knocking drinks over, these carpets are ruined, there's fucking smashed windows and all. That was just a fucking arsehole. Mate, it was a lovely flat as well, before I got there. And he was like, Robin, what is going on? Like, I'm going to ring an ambulance. I was like, scurrying on the floor, like, don't! I'm all right, don't! He was like, well, where's my rent money? And I was like, trying to kick him out of the flat with my foot, like, get out. He's like, no, it's my place, like, get out. A week later, I get a phone call off someone saying, you do realise that the dentist, the landlord, the randomest person, mate, the landlord, I found him on a to rent fucking advert, right? The landlord it turns out that the dentist, the posh dentist, and his posh wife, well, the posh wife, her dad is a mega villain, same Snapchat as my dad. So he finds out that my name's on the lease and rings me dad. Oh, and then it finds out, then my dad's like, listen, the man whose house you live in is a serious bastard. I'm not coming to do anything about it, but I've given permission to come and get you out of your house himself. He knows you haven't got the money to pay him the rent, so he's giving you the benefit of the doubt to just pack your shit and fuck off. So I had to pack up that night. So when I'd stopped being a spider...
When you come out of K-hole...
When I came out the K-hole, you can imagine I'm fucking bouncing off the walls and neighing like a horse and that, right? I had to ring my mum and tell her to come and fucking get me shit out of the house.
Coming out of a K-hole, though, you are just relieved.
Literally.
You are unless you've been in a K-hole, you'll never understand the relief. When you're out and you think, I'm never, ever, ever, ever doing that again.
Yes.
And the same fuckers that do that next week, it's like, you're back in that K-hole.
It is.
Yeah, you didn't learn.
You know what I mean? It was the worst time of your life, me. I couldn't help it. It was just like, nothing else seemed to hit us anymore. Only ketamine was like what I wanted to feel.
It's one of the ultimate clock outs, isn't it?
Clocking fucking
vile.
The worst, mate. Just it knocks fucking horses out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's horrible. And you tend to find people that have never done it, that would never consider doing it.
Yes.
They're out there nut on the beer and the gear.
Yeah.
The coke runs out.
So
then someone goes, I got some cat, and because they go, yeah, I'll have a go on that.
Yeah.
Now watch the vibe change.
Yes, it does.
Nothing like that.
No, it turns like a heroin. You look like heroin addicts when you're all on it, mate. I've been to parties where we're all like
paralyzed.
Minging, horrible.
Literally paralyzed, can't move. It's just shit.
So that's where I hit an all-time low, and that's believe it or not, is where the Facebook journey began. I can go into that.
Inspired by ketamine.
No, it was an accident.
Because your Facebook sketches.
Yes.
That I've seen and loved for over the years. Now, I've always known it's a bit like when Ray Winston plays a part. It's a bit like when Ray Winston plays Ray in Nil by Mouth.
Yes.
He plays it so well that you know he has to have lived a life similar to that.
Understand it.
Or he would never, ever be able to do the method acting the way he does. So, whenever I've seen your sketches, your drug binging party, session, comedy sketches, I've always known this geezer's been there.
I was probably on there when you watch the video, you know what I mean?
Yes, it is.
So all the videos are based on, my characters are based on actual people that I know. and actual stories and actual things that happened to me. Like, some people might watch one of my sketches of like the chav girls and think that is so silly, where that is very much how most chavs live their life. Kids getting took off you, all on drugs, thieves, all that shit. That's what me sketches relate to.
Now's a good time because there'll be people watching this podcast
Yeah.
that they don't subscribe to Facebook or they're not on Instagram, so they would never have seen. They'll be loving you as a character,
Yeah.
because you're fucking great,
Yeah.
and they'll be thinking, where are these sketches? Where can I find him? So now is a good time.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
Right. If you want to look into all the stuff I've ever done, you want to go. My name's Robin Armstrong. So on most social medias, I just come up as Robin Armstrong. But because when I got deleted, when I had 1 million followers and I was deleted, I had to change my name. I had to add more, because Robin Armstrong is now blacklisted as a name from my email address. So I had to change my name to something that people would remember us by. What's that Baldy Geordie kid called? So I called myself Robin Armstrong, aka the Baldy Geordie. So that name doesn't get blocked. So if you want to find us on social media, Robin Armstrong on Instagram, on Facebook, I'm Robin Armstrong, aka the Baldy Geordie, and TikTok, I'm Robin Armstrong, aka the Baldy Geordie.
Perfect. Okay, that's where you shouldn't just consider finding Robin. Go find him. He'll put a smile on your face, even on some of the darkest days. No matter what mood I'm in.
Yes.
If I've ever looked at something you're doing, I think, you crazy, beautiful bastard.
Yes.
Just watch you go. And yeah, they're great. So okay, so your social media journey.
Social medias are there. Social media journey. This is how it began. So this is the maddest shit ever, right? So I've come. My landlord wants us out. I've agreed I have to leave. One day before I was set to go to, sorry, the social media thing was happening while I was still working at Sky. Sorry, just before I left. So one night I had a big party and my friends had left. And when they left, I was still off me nuts on drugs. So I just invested in an iPhone for the first time, and I was amazed by it. Having ADHD growing up, my thing, what I loved was gadgets. Mate, I was obsessed. With flying saucers.
That will explain, because all of your content, I look and the characters and the graphics, and I think, how does he do that?
Yeah, mate. Well,
how does Robin do that?
You'd be amazed if I was to sit now and show you how I do a video in animation. I found the easiest ways to do it, right? But no one else would find it easy. Like some videos, I use 20 apps. You know what I mean? And when I do it, mate, I'm like the Rain Man. My hands like this.
Yeah, I can see that there's something spectacular going on there.
Oh, definitely.
They're all very, very different to other people's.
Oh, in the highest detail I possibly can. That's where it began. So it started off like, for instance, when mobile phones got added music to them. Then you had a BlackBerry where you had the Messenger. And the next thing was like these toys would come out like flying saucers, like an MP3 players, all these, like I was amazed by them. But when an iPhone came out, my friend showed us that he had a wealthy parents, so he was one of the first to get them, and they were like $2,000 to buy. And he had a picture of his other friend, but the mouth was cut out, and it was a video of, so I had a picture of you on my phone. I cut your mouth out, but it was my mouth talking. So he showed us it. He's like, I seen this video. It was another friend, but it was me other pal speaking. It was his mouth, and I was like, how the fuck did you do that? Yeah. That was sent my ADHD. I was like, wow. Like, I could do a million things with that. I could cut who else's head I want to put in that picture and make them speak. So I just basically got the out of them and went home and made everyone speak. Put a picture of my mum on. Oh, I've got a dick. Come on, look at me. I've got a knob. I'd send it to my mum. You know what I mean? Oh, look at my cock. And then the next thing I'd done was I was playing through these different apps, and I seen, so this is where it all blew up. Do you know, remember the first series of videos I'd done was a girl called Josie Cunningham. She got her boobs done on the NHS.
It rings a bell.
So she was she was classed as Britain's most hated woman, right? She was this county estate tramp, like I am.
Drinking cider.
Do you know, she had no tits. She was flat chested. She played on the government to get her boob job. So they got her this shit boob job, right? The worst you've ever seen. Then all of a sudden, anxiety was gone, and she decided she got offered to go on Big Brother. She was pregnant. She was willing to abort her child to go on Big Brother. She turned in like a fucking she was just a minging, horrible woman. She was getting loads of bad press in the papers. So I was off beat up, right? And I took a disliking to her, just being a fucking off beat up Raji. So I've got my phone out, had a big rant about what her tits looked like, and I was like, her tits look like fucking sacks of potatoes, ugly bastard. And she wanted 40 grand to go to get an abortion so she could go on Big Brother. And I wrote down a list of facts about her, and I just vented on my phone. but I was off me nut. Eventually, I fell asleep. I posted the video the previous night.
I now know exactly who you mean.
Yes.
And I remember exactly what you'd done.
Yeah.
And she was the first of several.
Yes. That was what it was.
Yeah, go for it.
Yes. So I posted the video of me insulting this fucking wench, right? And then the next day I woke up and I was all over the place. And I was just walking to the metro station. And when I was sitting on the metro, I was just sitting there and I come down in my life. And I seen this lass's flash went off on her phone, right? So I was like, and I looked and I was like, did you just take a picture of me there? And she was like, yeah. I went, why would you take a picture? It was like, I'm already on a skit. Yeah, like, why did you take a picture? I was like, oh, I'd seen your video. And I was like, I didn't know what she was going on about. I thought she's obviously mistaken it for someone else. I put my headphones back in. I'm not Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel wouldn't get the metro, you fucking idiot. Right? So I got off the metro, and when I got off, I had another look back, and I was able to say, you daft cunt. Obviously, I look like someone who you're thinking about. You've took a picture. So I didn't think anything of it. And by the time I got to the call centre, as I was walking into the entrance, this man grabbed us and went, Robin, can I get a picture with you? And I was like, have I got something on me back or something? Like, has someone done something on the sesh, wrote on my face? Have I got drawn on my face or something? He was like, no, I've seen your video. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he was like, the Josie Cunningham video, he showed us it, and it was like, had 1 million views. And I was like, hey, he was like, look, it's got 1 million views. And now I'd done no videos. This was my first video, you know what I mean? So I was like, what does that mean? He's like, 1 million people have seen your video. And that's how I recognize you. That's why I wanted the picture. And I was like, eh? And then I put my head up and loads of people like walked past like pointers and stuff. And I was like, this is fucking mint. You know what I mean? I was like, what? Like, nice. What? Do you want a picture now? So I went into work, right? And I was in the elevator. I was in the elevator going up to the floor, right? So as I was in the elevator, I started to sink in. I was like, yeah, what the fuck? Two strangers have just asked for a picture of me. So I couldn't fucking wait for the doors to open so I could go tell everybody. When the doors opened, everyone already knew. Everyone was like, that fucking video's man, I can't believe it. So I was like, yes. Like, I thought I was getting pranked, you know what I mean? 25 people or somebody's coming across going, yeah, mate. And then someone said, you're on the Lad Bible. So my days went from people recognising us to all of a sudden I'm on the Lad Bible, which was a big deal back in the day.
Lad Bible, uni,
Lad, all them shit.
Them big ones, yeah.
Yeah, but back in the day, the Lad Bible now has been bought by a big corporation company, and they just promote clickbait and shit.
I remember, if you made it onto the Lad Bible, you'd made it.
You were a lad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Proper.
They only ever promoted cool videos, so if I think when you did something that was epic, it would get put on there.
Yeah.
So now it was at its peak time. Lad Bible was massive. So they posted me video on Lad Bible, and then in the space of a few hours, by the time I'd finished my shift, I had 100,000 followers. So from the start of the day to the end of the day, I accumulated 100k followers.
That's insane growth.
Oh, mate. Algorithm.
Yeah, the algorithm was insane back then.
Perfect.
But it was more organic. It was more honest.
It was very honest.
Yeah, whereas now it's not.
Now they're worried that people can become too powerful and they don't want that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But back then, they were like, it's social media. It's all free. You say what you want. So it fucking took off, mate. Now, like I say, I'm a very needy person when it comes to like my girlfriend. Like, I'm a fucking proper soft shy, mate. I love it. When my mum left, I think I got a bit of a, what's it called when I need to be around people, you know what I mean? I didn't like being by myself.
Abandonment issues.
Yeah, big time, like trust issues. I needed that, you know what I mean?
You want to be loved and you like being loved.
Yeah, I like being loved, mate.
And you've got no shame saying it.
Yeah, call on, mate, big time. And I liked it.
And that is why, if there's, someone's child that likes you, you gravitate to that child.
Yeah.
And if someone's pet loves you, you love that pet.
Oh, super nice, mate.
We all want to love and be loved.
I love that.
We all want it.
I like that. And because I didn't really have it, all of a sudden, strangers were being nice to us in the street. So the first week was the hardest to get used to, right? Because it was like, after I'd left work, obviously I was the talk of the call centre, which was fucking mint. Everyone was like, yeah, this is great. But then obviously I was like, so what do I do now?
You just earned yourself a few more warnings, didn't you?
Oh, big time. Like,
I'll get off them.
I was like, I've got 100,000 followers. Who are you talking? You know what I mean? Made it. I was like, not long now till I quit my job. I just thought I was going to be rich, mate. So that week leading up, right, this is where it started. I didn't know what to do. No one could give us advice because no one knew what to do either, you know what I mean? I was like, ma, this is it, I'm fucking famous. 100,000 people. When there's more people in there than fit in St. James's Park, we would be sitting facing St. James's Park, right?
And was it all local people that were following you? Like,
yeah, for starters. Well, not because it was until the Lad Bible shared is, because Lad Bible was everywhere.
Yeah.
So then it was like London and everywhere else. So I thought to myself, that video was so successful, I'm going to try to do something else. So I just tried something totally random. I'd done like a Dolman sketch and I'd done like all right, but it didn't give us the same as that is, you know what I mean? It was like having your second crack pipe, mate. Your first one, you like, everyone's going to chase this dream. I've never done crack, by the way, ever. Right?
He meant line of coke.
Meant line of coke. But like when you do it,
Chasing the buzz.
yeah, the chase, it's never the same again. So my first video was super viral. My second one was shit. So I was like, well, I tell you what, I'm going to go back and I'm going to fucking grief that bitch again. So I made like 10 different parts of Josie Cunningham getting griefed. So whenever she done something wrong and it was in the paper straight away, I would jump on it and fucking go, right, you bitch. So you're going to do this week. She's this, she's that. And I would fucking annihilate her. And then each one would get bigger and bigger till one of them got like 30 million views. It was like...
For people, some people, someone could be tuning into this sort of halfway through and think, fucking hell, Robin's promoting, like, grilling a woman on the internet.
Yeah, I was.
She wasn't...
fucking bitch.
Fucking roll with it. He's a bully. But she was a
bad person.
She was a bad,
really bad,
unpleasant human being.
Oh, very. Like I say, I would never. If she was a lovely person, you'll never find me.
No,
if someone's reasonably nice, then there's nothing wrong with them. Or even if they're doing something that's slightly offensive to some people, she was willing to kill a child to go into Big Brother. She was spreading horrible rumors about her ex-partners. She was just a vulgar piece of shit, mate. She was willing to swoop to the lowest. She was wanting to be a prostitute. When she decided she was, because Big Brother knocked her back, she then decided when she was having a baby to sell tickets to come and watch her give birth. You know what I mean? And every time she done something, the wilder the thing she done, the better my video was going to be.
Yeah.
So I was.
Is she still about?
No.
Do you think she'll want to come on the podcast?
Oh, maybe he's like to kill me.
The offer's there.
Josie Cunningham, she might be, but she died out after. She was just like, I got, by the end of it, I'd done like five videos, and then I was contacted by Channel 4, who rang us up and said, listen, Channel 4 are doing a documentary, you can search for this. It was called Josie, Britain's Most Hated Woman. The documentary was going to be a big budget thing. And
did they say, Robin, she was loved until you got your claws into her? Everyone loved her.
Why you killed her? You know what I mean? So I was, at the time, I'd obviously lost my house and I had to move in with my mum, who lived in Berwick-upon-Tweed, in a fucking, the only house I can compare to my mum's house is Father Ted's. She lives on the end of a mountain with nothing around it. So I was living there, sick of me fucking life, mate. I needed to be in an open place, but I had no choice because of the mistakes I'd made. I had nowhere else to go. I had to go back to my mum's. So I went downstairs, I answered my ma, you're not going to believe this. She goes, what? Because she didn't, when I first told her about my social media shit and that, everyone was like, oh, look it, get a grip. Get a job in the cheese factory where all the rest of the family work. This isn't going to last. And I was like, no, it's going to work. Then I went downstairs and said, Channel 4's coming tomorrow. And she was like, what? I went, Channel 4's coming, yeah, tomorrow. And she was like, aye. I obviously didn't explain well enough, but they were. And she was like, okay, yeah, go upstairs, you fucking psychopath, you know what I mean? What stories are you They are. So then later on, I came downstairs, I was like, no, Mum, I'm being serious. Channel 4 are coming here tomorrow. And she was like, what do you mean? I showed her the emails and stuff. She was like, oh, fucking hell. So my mother brought a clean freak anyway. She lives in a lovely cottage. And so she cleaned the whole cottage up, gets the saunas and stuff on for them arriving. And then they arrive and they come in, these two posh people. They came in, they got us to sign some forms first. Little did I know that the forms were to give 100% of rights to the videos, so I didn't belong to them anymore.
Oh, you get no editing rights.
Scandals, bastards.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? But I was like, yeah. Oh, you want this? I was just like, where's the one for the money?
Make me look as bad as you like.
Aye. You know what I mean? Going to jail after this.
Yeah, sweet.
Aye. So I filled in all these forms and I went on and I fucking blasted her, mate. They were like, come on. So first I tried to put this persona on, like, I wasn't going on like a Raji. I was going, yeah, well, you know, she's a really bad person. He was like, cut. You went, showed us a video. He went, I want more of that. More of that. So I was like, right, that fat, ugly cunt should be dead. Dead. And he was like, go on. I was like, aye. He was, because he was behind the camera going like that. I was like, and she should be run over by a truck. Fat fanny, fat minge. And I was like, he was like, whoa. Stop. I was like, oh, too much. And then he said, right, look, we'll get back in touch with you in a few months when it's going to be aired on Channel 4. So I didn't tell none of my pals, didn't tell nobody, right? But on the day it was aired, my friends would all come to mine, would all start smoking weed at this point, would stop coming off the coke and stuff like that, we'd all bang on the weed and would play FIFA and get fucking food and stuff. So I knew it was going to be on Channel 4, right? So I put it on. I was like, oh, do you know that lass I've been doing the videos about over the past few months? There's a documentary about her the night, and my pals are like, oh, fuck her, man. I was like, no, we're watching it. They were like, no, mate, just put feet up. I was like, we're fucking watching the video, right? It was like it's an hour and a half long, though. So I didn't want to watch it either, but I knew I was going to be on it. So we're all sitting around the PlayStation and it goes through and then it goes on to the next part. It's like, 23-year-old salesman Robin Armstrong has something to say about Josie. And I come on the screen, my face right up the camera. That fat cunt can get put in a fucking cannon and she can get shot across the fucking toon with a baby in her hands. My pals were like, what the fuck? I was like, yes, come on. And then Wayne Rooney was retweeting it. All these celebrities are like, love this kid, because all the way through the documentary, me, I was sitting there with a cap that didn't fit us across the back of my head, right? In my ma's fucking country cottage. Because they were like, God, I didn't expect you to live in a house like this. I was like, I didn't 2 weeks ago, and I was in what you would have expected us to live in. So now they're seeing there's this cottage. They didn't think I was going to be the way I was. So when it got aired, mate, they put out all my bastard parts, so there's looking like a proper horrible cunt. But I love that. When I watch it back now, I'm like, oh, but when I was watching my pals were going, yes, you've done it. So I laughed.
You horrible bastard. You nailed it.
Yes, mate. Look at that. I was like, die. And then Wayne Rooney retweeted it. People from Towie were retweeting it and everyone got amongst it. And then she was in a relationship with this big criminal, like a Mike Tyson tattoo. He tweeted us saying, if you're so game, like, meet me. And I was like, I fucking come on then. We're having a big public argument. Everyone was getting involved. It was overwhelming me, out of control, mate. I fucking thought I was a superstar. I'm on Channel 4. I'm getting viral videos. But it still hadn't sunk in. What a lot of people don't realise, mate, is social media, it's an illusion. It doesn't matter how many followers you've got, unless you're getting anything, unless you're doing it properly, monetizing it. People think I'm rich and famous, mate. I've got fucking minus 20 quid in my bank, you know what I mean? Unless you do it properly, it's a long, long game. And I just assume...
You've learned that over the years, haven't you?
The hard way.
Yeah.
The hard way. It took us to like 300,000 followers. And then from then on, it consumed us. I thought, this is what I want to do forever. But it was like, how do I make money doing this? You know what I mean?
Still doing drugs whilst doing it?
Oh, still fucking killing the drugs, mate. I was on them all the time.
Even more so?
Aye, even more so.
Just constantly buzzing?
Constantly, bouncing from next person, getting invited to all these big parties and stuff like that. And then I was like, how do I make money? But then lots of people who, like, in other industries, they started approaching us to do advertisements and stuff for, like, dessert shops and stuff. So I was like, well, maybe I'll try a bit of this. So now I've got loads of followers. I was going into all the local kebab shops and stuff and saying, look, if you give me, like, 300 quid in a kebab, I'll show you a kebab to 1 million people. Like, I had 1 million followers, me. I could have made thousands, but because of my fucking council estate brain, I didn't understand how much power I had at the time.
Unless somebody shows you that, right, did you know that if you click this and sign up to that affiliate and do that, like, unless you know someone that's done it, because nobody wants to give away trade secrets either, and no one wants you doing better than them.
Nobody.
So they keep it all to themselves.
Over the space of a few years, mate, I've met a lot of people who manipulated us into moving in with them, who promises the world. So I got kidnapped by an SAS soldier. This is an interesting tale. I'll tell you about this. Actually happened, right? So I was convinced by this. He's a TV presenter for a local TV station. This kid, right? Newcastle. It's called Made in Town and Weird. It's on Sky and Virgin, but it's like a shitty TV channel. It's got hardly any viewers. But everywhere local, you probably have a Made in London or something like that. There's loads of, just a small TV network, right? So this kid who was seeing me videos got in touch with us and said, I'm doing a promo for a nightclub and they would like you to do some advertising for them. So I went and met up with them, ended up being quite a nice kid. And he said, look, I'm looking for a flatmate if you want to come and stay at mine. I went and looked at his pad. It was like built into a cave. It was amazing, right? I was like, this is fucking class. He had all the similar stuff that you've got, cameras and stuff. And I'd never seen that kind of equipment. And I was like, we could work together great with my comedy and your skills. So I moved in with him. Within every 2 weeks of living there, I started to know he was quite annoying, right? And I was like, God, you're a fucking little knobhead, you like. And then the other flatmate had moved out. Now, when she moved out, she came across to me and our final words were, you don't want to live here with him. And I was like, why? Sure, he's a fucking little arsehole. Sure, he steals your food and stuff like that. He used to steal my socks and stuff like that. And I was like, well, he's not going to steal my socks. He's a little wanker, I'll tell him. You know what I mean? Even if he did, I wouldn't be that bothered. So anyway, I end up befriending him and this girl moves out. It's just me and him. So the neighbours from downstairs have an argument with me flatmate. I was like, are you going to fall out with anyone else? And they move out. So now it's just us there. This is downstairs. It's empty. A couple of weeks later, passing me landlord comes and knocks on the door and says, we've got a new guy moving in next week. And I was like, great. Who was it? And he was like, Michael Turner. And I was like, the Michael Turner, the fucking SAS soldier bloke. He's like, yeah, do you know him? I was like, yeah, I know who he is. Like, he's a fucked up, mate. He's a fucking psychopath. So he was a really high up in the army, got promoted to special services and stuff. I'm guessing he's fucking lost his mind, and now he works as private security. So, you know, when they go over to like fucking Iraq and they like work for the royal family and they just kill people and that, right? So that's what he got a job doing. So when I found out he was moving in, I was like, Ray, I was like, I don't think you should I was like, he's a bad man, you know, like really bad, done some fucking crazy things to people around here. And he's like, oh, he's fine, man, I get along with him. Because he's surrounded by wealthy circles, but he is a maniac.
Did I use him for his muscle?
Well, no, I think they're just friendly with him. Well, he's very dramatic. He talks like this. He's a proper fucking SAS man, right? This is how you would expect him to talk. So, I'm going, fuck. I can't believe he's moving in. The flatmate I live with, he's a fucking posh thing from Yorkshire. He hasn't got a clue who this guy is. He's like, what's wrong? Is he bad? I'm like, bad? I've heard really bad stories, right? And he was like, should I be worried? I was like, I think you should be worried, mate. He's a bad man. Anyway, he moves in. I hadn't seen him yet. And then in our communal area, we had a metal staircase, right? I hear him coming up the stairs. Boom, boom, boom. I was looking out, I had cereal in my mouth. I was like, all right. I stopped eating my cereal. My flatmate was like, oh, this must be him. Yeah, bang, bang, bang. My door. Open the door. He comes walking in, right? 6'5" or whatever he is. He was like, nice to meet you. I'm Michael. I was like, all right, Michael. Nice to meet you, mate. Come in, lads. He pushed his way past, just walked straight in the house. I was like this. He goes, anyway, lads, listen, I don't get my Wi-Fi sorted till next week. So can I have your Wi-Fi for a week? I was like, yeah, of course you can. Of course, no problem. So I gave him the Wi-Fi code. And he was like, right, downstairs now. Come and meet my wife. And I was like, all right, I'll come meet your wife. So I'm looking at Dan going, fuck. Let's take him into his lair here. You know what I mean? We'll never get out. So walk in his house and he's like, right, this is my wife. And then he went, Ollie, Ollie. This is the dog, right? I was like, fucking hell, what the fuck? The dog come in, he's like, good boy, you're a good boy. And I was like, fuck me. That was a bit extreme. He goes, anyway, lads, to say thank you for giving me the Wi-Fi, I've got you a couple of gifts. He goes, Dan, my flatmate, comes out with it. It was a cap he'd got from an American basketball team or something when he was working abroad. So he gives him a cap and he goes, in for you, I've got something special for you, Robin. He says, not a copy, by the way, to Geordie. I don't know why I'm talking like that, because you're talking like that. So I've got something special for you, Robin. And I was like, okay. So he comes out with this black, it was like a suede jacket. I was like, this is a random thing to wear. Well, it looked like a plain blazer, sort of say. So I was like, oh, thanks very much. Anyway, see you later. Take care. Enjoy the Wi-Fi. So I go upstairs and I'm like, Dan was like, he seems like a really nice guy. I was like, no, something's not right. I know he's a madman. I go into my room. Anyway, I ring my mum and as I'm on FaceTime, my mum, I start to inspect this black jacket. Something like this. I go in the pocket, mate, and there's a big fucking bloodied ISIS flag in the pocket, right? So this jacket was from an ISIS person that he'd murdered and took the jacket and brought it home as a souvenir. I've got it in my room now, and it was the peak where ISIS was like, you know, the fucking production killings and stuff.
Outrageous.
It was then, so they were banging the news. So when I put it out like that, I was like, what the fuck? My mum was like, yeah, you need to get rid of that now. Get rid of it, because if the police see, if you post a picture of an ISIS flag, police would have been through your door, would have been a long-winded process. I would have had to have told them I got them off that cunt downstairs. He would have fucking killed us. So I was like, fuck, what do I do with it? So my mum was like, look, don't put it in the bin, because if it goes to the bin, they have to come back to your house. Because I had it on, man. I was walking around the house going, this is a shit jacket. Why does he even give us this jacket? It's got me fucking, it's not Nike. It's got this. Oh my God. I was like, oh, it's probably murdered people and stuff in it. You know what I mean? So I was like, I was horrified by it, right? But I didn't want to say anything to him, so I carried on being nice. A week later,
that's probably a wise decision.
I was like, mate, love the jacket, by the way. He's like, why haven't you got it on? And I was like, because I found the ISIS flag. You know what I mean? And he's like, laughing at us. So the following week, he comes up and knocks on the door and goes, listen, I'm going to work for a bit. He was going to Byron or whatever it's called for work. He was like, look after my wife if she needs anything. Again, he's not a cockney. I'm doing your voice, yeah. Look after my wife. All right. I was like, okay, we will. So a week passes. He's been away doing his work. I've totally forgot he even lives there, right? It's been dead peaceful. Come back from the gym about 8 o'clock at night. Pulled up outside of a communal shared hallway. And when I got to the hallway, right, I'm just texting on my phone like that. And I looked to the left, and his girlfriend was at the window, makeup all over her face, crying, right, looking like this. I was like, I mean, why is she crying for? And then she ran back in the house, and I was like, that was weird. I looked at my bonnet, mate, he was on my bonnet, right? Like this, like a spider, right? He went, open the fucking door now. I was like, what the fuck? So I was like, no, open the fucking door. It's a back alley where I lived in, so there was no one here. So I opened my door, and he gets in my car. He's like this, over the top of us. He went, what one says sort of, he went, drive. I went, what? He went, drive the fucking car, right? Spitting all over us and that, right? I was like, start my car. Now where I lived, it was a back alley. Our house was shut, and there was another back alley. So my car was parked here, so I had to come along and head down another dark alley. So I was like, I need to know what's going on if I drive any further. So I was driving down the alley, right? He was going, snoring and that. And he went, I stopped the car and Michael, what's going on? He went, fucking who are you talking to? Who are you fucking talking to? I was like, I didn't know what to do. Is he having PTSD or something? Yeah. And he went, comedian, are you? Comedian. I was like, He went, well, fucking make us laugh. I was like, he went, make us laugh. And he was like, make us fucking laugh. I was like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what's going on. I was shitting my pants, right? I was thinking, fuck. So he went, drive the car, keep on driving. He was looking around like that. So I started the car again, carried on driving. And when we got to the bottom junction, where there's actually cars driving past, a car passed us. And I looked, and because I looked at the car, he thought I was going to signal him. So he grabbed me face. He's like, look fucking forward now, right? And all like that. Oh my God. I go to press my indicator. He grabbed me wrist. He's like, don't you fucking dare try and run. Don't you fucking dare try and run. I was like, what the fuck? I'm going to die, right? So I'm sweating in the car. I was like, oh my God, weeping God. He went, drive to the lady park. The lady park is the woods, mate. I was like, no fucking way. No way am I going to the woods. You know what I mean? If you want sucked off, they'll date you.
Right now.
Right now or never. Right? So I was like, nah, I'm not driving the woods. So, drive the fucking woods, are you not? So at this point, I thought, right, I'm going to try and play the fucking me trick card, and I'm going to drop my dad's name in the mix. I was like, you do realise this is Rob Armstrong's car? He was like, oh, Daddy, is it? Daddy. I was like, shit, that didn't work. What am I going to fucking do now? I was like, I've run out of options, so I'm just going to have to let him fucking kill us or shag us, one of the two. So I was like, look, I don't know what the problem is, yeah.
Or both.
Or both. Or one first and the other, you know what I mean? So I was like, look, now I'm starting to, you know when Zebedee gets confronted off fucking the big scary thing in Football Factory? Put your hand out, you cunt. Oh, you're just a kid. That's what I felt like. I was like, oh, come on, man, Michael, just let us go. And he went, listen to us. At my car at the time, right, it was the shittest Fiesta I've ever seen. I've never washed it in about 2 years. When we're in the car, there was a layer of dust on my dashboard, right? It was about that big, right? It could have been another airbag. It was that dirty. So he's whipped out some coke and went, did you do drugs today? I was like, I do, but not like on a Wednesday night. I've got work tomorrow. He was like, well, you're fucking doing it now. I was like, I'm not. She's grabbed the whole back of your head. He's trying to push us to have a sniff line. I wouldn't do it. So he poured all of his coke on top of my dashboard, which was thick of dust. Then he fucking headbutts my dashboard, full bell, right? How he didn't fucking set the airbag off, I don't know. And he sniffed all the coke. But obviously, he's just sniffed about 5 years worth of dust, right? So obviously, I was like, oh, I wanted to stop him and go, don't. But I was like, oh, fuck you know what I mean? You're fucking kidnapping and you daft couldn't do it. So he's like, bang, bloody nose. His face is all fucking mad, shouting at us, right? I was like, please, let's go home and date and Michael, please. He was like, go home and I fucking tell you to go. He was just losing his mind. So I thought, fuck it, while he's fucking kicking off, I'm going to turn the car back around. I'm going to head back up the back alley. And I'm just going to get out and go back into my house. So I turned the car back around, we're heading back up the dark back alley. Now he's grabbing the steering wheel, trying to make us crash into the walls on the way up the hill, right? I was like, fucking there. I was like, stop. And then I got to my house. I ran in my house, right? He chased us in the building, got to the top of the stairs, ran in, threw the door closed behind us. I was on the floor like this, fucking hell. And my flatmates fucking walks in, he's like, what's going on? And obviously I had to tell him, I've just been fucking kidnapped, I've the fucking psychopath downstairs. My landlord also lived next door to us, so I had to ring him. I was like, Ray, listen, I fucking told you can't let that psychopath move. And I just kidnapped us. He was like, what do you mean? So I had to tell him the whole story again. Now, this is where it gets even more awkward, right? After all this happened, I didn't want to leave the house, mate. I was fucking terrified to pass him again. I was like, yeah, he's a maniac. If he's willing to do that for nothing, I didn't want to pass him, right? So this is putting us back on the sesh. I was getting on drugs and stuff. I thought, I don't want to face the cunt. He's mad. We'll get a new flatmate moves in, this gay bloke, right? A gay doctor moved in with me. I had no choice of...
Not to replace the lunatic.
Not to replace him.
Just in amongst.
Spare room, yeah. Do you know how I said at the start of the story? The first flatmate left.
Right.
And so I had a spare room. So this gay doctor moves in, right? Eamon, he was called. He was a sound bloke, ended up being a bit of a weird bastard. So when on his second day of moving in, I got kidnapped on that day, right? So I came back and told the flatmate what happened. He's bursting into tears. He was like, "I can't live here. I'm a doctor, for God's sake." He was from Belfast. It's a good impression of him. He was like, "I'm a doctor, for God's sake. I can't do this."
It was better than your Geordie impression.
It goes, "I'm a doctor." He's a surgeon and stuff, really highly qualified. He was a gay bloke. He'd come from the sticks. He'd never been around a highly populated gay area. So being in the toon now, he's got a full gay scene to go to, right? So he's a doctor. He's been here 2 days. I've been kidnapped on day 2. He was terrified. I thought he was going to leave because I had to tell the truth. I was in bits of myself when I came. He's like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Just been kidnapped." And I was like, "I didn't want to tell you because I know you'd be scared." Anyway, I thought it would have scared him. It turns out it turned him on. He liked the thought of this scary man being downstairs, right? So a week later, we've convinced the doctor to get on drugs, right, for the first time. So the doctor gets on drugs with us. We're off with nut. I go to my bedroom. I get a text from the psychopath downstairs saying, "One more, I'm going to kill him." And I was like, "One more what? What are you talking about?" I was like, "Mate, I'm honestly not doing anything. I'm in your room. It's not me." He went, "Tell your flatmate if he sends one more message, I'm going to kill him." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" So I went to my flatmate. I was like, "Are you fucking messaging him downstairs?" He was like, "No." So I was like, "Surely not." So I goes into the sit room. The gay doctor's sitting there, mate. He was fucked out of his brain, right? I went, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm so sorry, Rob." I went, "What are you doing?" I went, "He's just messaged us saying if you do it again, he's going to kill you." "What have you done?" He went, I went downstairs. I went, "Right." He went, and I pressed my dick against his window, right? Mate, on my mum's life, right? I swear on me mum's, me nieces and nephews' lives. This is what happened. So we're in we had a shared communal area. Downstairs, we both had big circle windows you could sit in. It was a big round window and you could sit in it. But his window, obviously, because he was on the ground floor, was right next to the floor. So we'd come in the communal area and you could see straight into his whole sit room. So this fucking gay bloke who we lived with got himself so turned on off the MDMA. Like you see, he never took drugs and stuff till he come down here. He's so turned on. He's now by himself. He's took a risk, found out that the man's wife was away, dropped a message saying, "How about I come and suck your cock?" Right? So he's messaged back saying, "You've messaged the wrong person." He's like, "Oh, no, I haven't." Right? So then he's like, "Are you fucking joking me?" I was like, he's an elite level lunatic, right? So he was like, "I want to suck your cock," like that. She's away, I'll not see anything in that. And he's getting madder and madder. So I've heard at one point he came out with a baseball bat. He was hitting the stairs, the metal stairs, boom, boom. So that's when I pressed pause. I was like, "What's going on?" And then when I've obviously went and seen what's happened, the told us what happened. The gay bloke said, "Shit."
I just rolled like
a puff of rage, I meant to say.
There's a bit of homophobia for you.
We are pals. So he went down there, got so turned on, and he wasn't replying to his messages. So basically, the psychopath downstairs has had enough of this gay bloke who was sending dirty messages that he's told me, if I don't tell him, I'm going to get it as well. So I've told him to stop. After I told him to stop, then this is when he went down and done his penis. So the first messages were just sexy messages. Once I sucked his knob, the psychopath has said, "Look, I'll fucking come up there and do this to you." I've told him to stop, went back to bed. Then I've heard the baseball bat getting banged off the passageway. I was like, "What are you doing now?" Went downstairs and he's told us, mate, I literally went downstairs and looked at his window and he could see. So what he said he'd done, he told me this in his own words. He said he came downstairs in a dressing gown. He came to the window, eyes glazed, out of his mind. The psychopath sitting on the settee watching him. He said he opened his dressing gown and pushed his naked body against my window. He went, so he's got up, ran to the door with a big fucking massive a big metal kosh. He's trying to hit him with a kosh. I've came out, "What's going on?" He's running past me with his dick out off his nut, right? I was like, I can't take it anymore. So I moved out the day after. So that was... The reason why he exploited is that guy who the whole story of that leading up was, he promised us a slot on the TV station. This local community station that already had a news department, a sports department, and a lifestyle. They needed a comedy one. So I was meant to get that role. And when he seen me stuff of how the TV station were reacting and how much they loved it, didn't want to do it anymore. So he cancelled. I had the Robin Armstrong show was due to air on TV, and he got it cancelled like 2 weeks beforehand through jealousy. I was like, "This is mad." He's like, "Look, and you're living with me. If I'm not involved in this, like it's not going to work. So I lost my TV show that was meant to be happening. I promoted for like 6 months because I was told it was going to be the first comedy show to come out of this TV station. I'd obviously made loads of promo videos leading up to it, and he didn't like it. So I fell out with him, lost my TV show, lost me slot in that TV network. You know what I mean?
Something's going to come, eventually, that leads you to mainstream TV.
All right.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the first things I said to you. You should have your own TV show. But moving on from these swines exploiting you.
Yeah.
Because your passion now is comedy.
I love it.
I can see that you absolutely adore it. In an era where, in my opinion, we need comedy more than ever.
Oh, yes.
Because everyone's been filtered, they've been watered down, they've been censored, they've been silenced. You've been cancelled 2 or 3 times. You've lost millions of followers because your comedy wasn't quite politically correct enough. And there's a lot of doom and gloom out there. There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of suffering at record rates. There's depression. There's people overweight. They're substance dependent. Comedy is what we need right now.
Yeah.
So what you're doing, I love.
Yeah.
And I miss the good old days where Roy Chubby Brown could say what he wanted to say. Yeah. Jim Davidson could say what he wanted to say.
Without being fucking...
Yeah, Jimmy Jones, Mike Reed, all these real funny people. Because comedy isn't funny anymore because people have got to censor themselves.
Literally.
And self-censorship is shit.
It is the worst.
I mean, the words you said a minute ago. I mean, off camera.
Yeah.
You say what the fuck you like, but you've actually now got to censor yourself to conform with whoever it is that has control over you.
Exactly, mate. It's ridiculous.
It's nonsense, but you're doing your comedy shows behind behind the cameras.
Yes.
So Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, who proclaims to be a free speech advocate, he isn't. You can now say what you like without being censored at a time where I think people absolutely need it.
Yes.
So I'm picturing a tour down the line.
You're definitely 100%.
Where you will put a tour on and you go to all these towns where back in the day they were used to like the Jimmy Jones Harder and Faster. All these comedians that they miss.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you haven't got
bring it back.
You haven't got a filter.
Nah.
Your sense of humour is dynamite.
Yeah.
It's dark, it's rude, it's crude, it's outrageous, it pushes the boundaries.
Relatable as well, you know what I mean?
Completely.
That's what I try and do, what everyone...
I love it.
Yeah.
So so tell me about your comedy now.
Yes.
So talk to me about comedy because I love it, B need it.
Yes.
And C, I'm delighted that it's back.
Yeah. I'll tell you where it's so... I see the comedy, the social media thing started by that silly rant. And then obviously I realised the rants would do better the funnier they were. So I would try, the first couple of rants I was quite aggressive. I was like, yeah, that's fucking bitch. And it wasn't really funny. Then it was like, actually, let's try and joke about our tits that look like. What do they look like? Sacks of potatoes. That sounds kind of funny. And then the more I'd done it, I realised when in the drug period, that I was always the mouthy one who would always say the funny stuff. It wasn't until I started watching comedy, like Peter Kay and stuff was, when he first came around, when everyone would watch him on a Saturday night when he was on. That was where I was like, wow. And then Bo Selector and stuff like that, them mad masks and stuff. That always I was fascinated.
I was going to say, because you bring characters into your sketches.
So I was amazed by it, and I never ever thought of doing it myself until I seen the social media, until I had my first ever go at it. Then I thought to myself, right, I wasn't confident enough to go and do it on stage. I wasn't confident enough to even speak in front of strangers, so I would always do the videos in my house. Then it was when I noticed I was getting blocked all the time and the restrictions were getting uncontrollable, no one was seeing me stuff, I thought, why not try stand-up comedy? Or like I've started doing live sketch shows now where obviously, like you say, you can't get blocked on a fucking stage, mate. I can say whatever I want. You know what I mean?
Did you have somebody like I've just done say to you, you are a funny man, funny bones. You should do this. Or did you just think to yourself, I want to do that?
No, I think in the early days, it was my decision. But after the interaction of everyone who'd seen my video, saying how funny it was, that was the catalyst to get us going. All the compliments of that accidental first viral video that never left me head. I've never had, mate, when else other than your fucking wedding do you have, or a promotion, do you have everyone come up with you going, oh, well done, well done. No. There was never going to get that.
And it's awesome, the fact that once upon a time you were shy.
Yeah, so shy.
Once upon a time you were shy, and for whoever your life experiences have taken place, you're now in a position where, off my own back, I'm actually going to stand with a microphone in my hand in front of a crowd of people without notes, and I'm going to make you laugh.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Oh, me, 100%. And not only that, I think I failed. I got deleted 1 million. Usually people don't ever bounce back from that. I wasn't quite...
That's deflating.
Mate.
I've had it 2-3 times. It's horrible.
You've got to think, when you've got 1 million followers, you're worth a lot of money. If someone wants to post on your Facebook for 1 million followers, gives $5,000, you bother. You want to stay at the best hotel in the world, put it on your story. I was a king of the world, mate, but obviously the bullying videos, which we'll get into, that ultimately ended everything for us, you know what I mean?
Because you lost 2 accounts, didn't you? You three
in total, yeah.
And the big ones I remember you losing was one where you was bullying the bullies.
Yes.
And so that was that. And you can see why they would say, well, it's hateful content because you are bullying the bullies. Mm-hmm. Still shit, because I do believe that the best way to deal with a bully is bully them. Either completely blank them or bully them. So I'm all for that.
Yeah, definitely.
So I've always been pro Robin Armstrong.
Yeah.
Like, make no mistake.
Aye.
And then the other ones, and again, I'm even more pro this, you were exposing pedophiles.
Yeah.
And you were ripping into them, and you was bringing your massive audience's attention to these proven pedophiles, which is great, because why should they be able to just slide away and hide in the shadows?
I mean,
you're bringing them
madness
to the surface, you're adding your twist to it, so they're going viral.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this is great, because you'd get pedophile hunters, and they would capture this paedophile. They'd have all the evidence, and I know some paedophile hunters. They have to have a backlog of evidence.
Yeah.
It normally goes to court, they get charged, they get sent to jail. So to get to the stage where you've got the content, they're guilty.
Yeah.
But they haven't quite got the finesse that you have, or the reach, or the ability to go, this is how you get it to the masses.
Yeah.
So you're taking what they're doing, and you're putting your twist on it, which is the genius part of it, and then going, bam, there you go, scumbags. Now you're famous.
I didn't leave a single quote out of what I would say as well. So I wouldn't give them an angle to go, but what about this? No, I mentioned that.
It was awesome.
Awesome, man.
And I couldn't believe, that was when I thought, you know what, there's something monumentally wrong with the world when someone is getting silenced and censored and unpublished for exposing paedophiles.
Yes.
Just what the fuck is that all about?
What's going on?
How did you feel? I bet, because I thought, you're now onto something here.
Yeah.
Nothing can go wrong. I'm going to do this because it's good for the community.
Yeah.
It's also going to be good for business.
Yeah, it's good for business, good for the community, everyone.
It's a win-win.
So there's a paedophile in my local area. I'll say his name because he's out of jail. Kane Hutchinson, if you're watching this, you little fucking slimy wrongin'. Ran for his life, I'll tell you what he done. So Kane was my age, went to a school quite close by to my house. His uncle was a football hooligan, so he got lots of respect. And after he left school, he volunteered to be a PE teacher. So he stayed behind.
That old chestnut.
Yeah, that cheat. By the end of it came out he was one of the most prolific paedophiles in the country you'd ever seen, right? So when he was working as a PE teacher in the school, he then volunteered to be a school football coach in the local football team. And all the boys, obviously, because he would go to the match with his football hooligan, all the kids looked up to him, and we basically groomed them. And then it got to the point where you say, look, if you want to come around mine, I've got a what they call table, a massage table, so I can come and get your muscles rubbed down and so on. That obviously that's what I do. So some of the kids managed to went to his house, and when they got there, realised that he didn't in fact have a massage table. It was just his bedroom, and he'd be like, oh, do you want to have a game of darts? And he would put it on them, and then eventually would try and fucking sexually abuse them. So over the space of a couple of years, a few things came out, but he'd obviously got it stunned because his uncle was who he was. And it always got swept under the carpet because he'd portray a good, nice person in his day-to-day life. You would never have told. You would have thought he was a sound kid. But little things would come out here and there. And I used to always be like, something must be going on. It's more than one story now. It was like 5 or 6 stories now have been said about him. So I was having a big drug-fueled party, and one of the youngsters who...
That's not like you.
Nah, it was a one... So, what a massive drug-fueled party. And one of the youngsters who he'd abused came to the party. He was now like 17-year-old. And he came in with one of my pals' little brothers or something like that. And he came in and we were all talking. And then Kane's name came up in the conversation. And he was like, oh, you not hear what he tried to do to me? And we were like, what did he try to do to you, like? And he's like, oh, well, his family's close to my family. And on New Year's Eve, we had a party and everyone had finished drinking and everyone went to bed and we were sitting on the table. And he came around the table and put his hand down on me in my arse cheeks. He went sort of like, whoa, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm only joking, man. I'm only joking. And I was like, fucking hell, what did you do then? He's like, oh, look, like, even if you tell me, man, they're not going to believe you. And I was like, what? I went, so why did you not tell the police? He was like, obviously he threatened us with his uncle and that, you know? And I was like, well, fucking, like, bring the police now. I'm sitting next to you, ring them now. And he was like, no, I can't. I don't want to. And he's like, your pal went, tell him about what he done to your mate. And he went through a long list of these things. Your mate, he was getting kids to come round. One kid, he convinced to suck his knob in his bedroom, right? The kid that ended up being gay, convinced him to suck his knob when he was like 14-year-old. And then, so he gave us a long list of these names of kids who he'd done bad things to. So I was like contacting all of them. I was like, listen, yeah, I've heard what's happened. Don't worry. I'm not going to tell your name of the public. I'm not going to let everyone know what happened to you or whatever. Just tell us what he's done. And then if you're willing to go and fucking speak to the police, I'll go and deal with him. You know what I mean? We'll deal with him. Don't worry about him. My dad's a fucking miles over them fucking football hooligans now. So I didn't have any worries in my head. So we're all full of drugs. I'll go, listen, are you got Kane's number? He goes, I've got his number. And gives his fucking number here. So we're all sitting in the house. My pals are going, go on, get him. So the phone rings. He's like, hello? I went, is this Kane? He goes, aye. I went, it's Robin Armstrong. He's like, oh, how's it going, mate? How's it going? I went, fucking don't, how's it going? Me, you fucking nonce. And he was like, obviously I was big on Facebook. So he was like, what? I went, listen, we know everything. I want to know everything. I want to get it in your fucking head as well. I would never dream of branding someone a paedophile without 150% concrete evidence. I wouldn't do that yet. But I know. I've spoke to everyone you've done it to. I've spoke to loads of people. He fucked off and went to Camp. He volunteered to work in Camp America, right, when the heat was on him. Went to Camp America as a volunteer, nonced a kid in Camp America, fled America and came back home, back to Newcastle, done something else again. And then fucking obviously we rang him up. I said, listen, we're going to come to your house. I'm going to fucking burn your house down, you daft cunt. And he put the phone down on us. So we rang him again. It went straight through the voicemail. So I was like, listen, we're coming to burn your fucking house down. Obviously off or not. We wouldn't have done it. I'm giving it big licks like I would have. I wouldn't have. I was like, I'll fucking do this. Put the phone down on him.
When you hire as a kite, it sounds realistic, doesn't it?
I'll tell someone I'm going to shoot them. I wouldn't have to shoot it with these fingers. You know what I mean?
So, and don't make me do that.
Fucking want to play Russian roulette with me, you divvy. So he's panicked, right? And rang the police. The police have been, when he's rang the police have arrested me the day after. So the day after, all my pals have gone. I was just dozing off in my sit room. My door just went boom. I was like, what the fuck? There's coke everywhere in that rail. I was like, I'm sweeping off the tables as they come and got us. I didn't know what I was getting arrested for.
Sneaky pinch.
On the way I was like, in my mouth and that. Eat. So they took us to jail. I was like this, right? And I was in the fucking question. They took us to the cells, put us in. I was like, why am I here? And then I was in there. I was only in the cell for about 1 minute, mate. And this woman came in with a suit and was like, can you come with me? I was like, yeah. Took us into the interview room, sat us down. Another man came in with a suit and they brought a book in, mate. I swear it was like the fucking Bible, right? You put it on the table. Said Kane Hutchinson on the front was the paedophile's name. I was like, they went, tell about everything you know about Kane Hutchinson. I was like, I'm not trying to get in trouble. She was like, no, we need to know what you've been told. I was like, nice. Let's go. So I was like, right, look at this kid. She was like, yeah, we know their names. Obviously, the word willing to put a statement in. I was like, you are now. They came round, put statements in. They went to kick his door through to arrest him. His mum had hid him in his base in the attic to keep him fucking hidden away. It was very unfortunate because his mum and dad are really nice people. So when I first put the status out about him, right, saying everyone in Gateshead has heard something else about this fucking wronging, Kane Hutchinson's a paedophile, I was hovering over the post for a long time to make it go live. Yeah. And pals were like, Robin, a couple of me pals were like, do it. Some of my other friends were like, yeah, mate, you've got to be sure at your mind because you're putting this out to fucking 800,000 people, I think I had at the time. You're going to brand this man a paedophile if you're wrong. I was like, posted. Whoops. And your pals were like, yeah, he posted it. But then, mate, as much as it was great, because I'd spoken on the phone, I threatened him, said he was going to burn his house down, left a voicemail, and then I've posted the post straight away. So all the way through the night, I was getting, mate, it was like 2,000 likes, which was a lot of likes back then. So I was like, oh, no. The amount of traction had built up. Yeah. All the comments were like, I fucking knew it. So glad you said this. Then he puts a post up, gets more likes than I had, 3,000 likes, defending him. Who the fuck does that egghead think he is? Fucking how dare they? I would leave you with my kids in a heartbeat, defending him. So when I'm off my nut, I'm looking at my status, people picking it up, but I'm also looking at his, who's getting more interaction, and they're all supporting him. I'm now thinking, oh my God, I've just called him a paedophile and I'm wrong. So when my door went through the next day, I was like, he's killed himself or something. What have I done?
Oh.
So when they took us in and brought that book out, and I was like, is he all right? They were like, yeah, he's all right. And I was like, oh, thank fuck. And they were like, what can you tell us? And then I just went, listed off all the things. I went, how did you arrest us, by the way? She went, believe it or not, when you left a voicemail threatening him last night, didn't you? I went, yes. She went, that gave us a reason to take his phone as evidence, because he refused to give his phone in. There was nothing on his phone. So there was no reason for them to go and get a phone. They didn't have a warrant to go and take his phone. Because I'd left a voicemail threatening his life, that gave them a reason that needed the phone off him. So when we got there, when we need your phone, he's like, oh, no. I was like, it's evidence. You've told me it's a voicemail. We need it. So took his phone, found pictures and that of him sending pictures of his cock loads of kids and stuff, which ultimately ended up taking him to jail, you know what I mean?
What's a dirty wanker?
Oh, mate, what a relief as well, by the way. Not that he's a paedophile, a relief for me, because thousands of people were branding me at fucking Europe. He was gay. They were saying you're forcing him to come out as gay. That's all you've done because the kids are now of a legal age and stuff. And I was like...
And that is the problem with people, with prolific predators like that. Their egos are they're so narcissistic that they always end up falling on their own sword.
Yeah, there's...
I'm going to call the police because I'm so innocent.
Yeah.
Okay, well, give us your phone.
Aye.
There's your sword.
Oh.
Now you've fallen on it. Now you're fucked.
Aye.
Yeah, good.
Good, mate. And then he went to jail, and he when the news came out, the headlines were like, most prolific paedophile since blah, blah, blah. He was nonsense kids left, right, and centre. He was like grooming them to come to his house and then doing horrific fucking sex acts on them. Then he went to jail. He got released on a false name and given him a new life in fucking Leeds. Done it again in Leeds. Done another sex case. Went to jail again. And for the final time, right, he got put somewhere else. A few of my friends were on a stag do. They're just young kids. My pals were like 2 years younger than me, so they're like 29-year-old. We were on a stag do in Leeds again. And they seen him, dyed blonde hair, bleached blonde hair in a nightclub dancing. And they went across to him and said, Harry Kane. And he was like, look, and was like, oh, and they're like, what are you doing here, you fucking nonce? So he's made a big, massive scene with it. Obviously, he's made new friends since he's been at this place and they didn't know. So they've all attacked me pals, going, he's a fucking liar, let's do them in, lads. Not realising, obviously, like, he is a paedophile, you know what I mean? Bonafide.
Convicted.
Aye, the worst.
Trialed.
Aye, the worst, mate. And he hid behind the fact that his uncle was a fucking football hooligan, and it worked. He would go to football games, right? He'd cause trouble to make himself look like some character so people wouldn't know about his prolific sex fucking cases.
Yeah, his alter ego. Aye. His filthy disguise, his dirty mask.
Bastard.
Dirty mask that they all wear.
Aye.
So not only were your videos having a hell of an impact, because your videos would have given victims hope as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It would inspire them to come and speak and come forward and report someone that's abusing them sexually, physically, psychologically.
Yeah.
Anyone that's being nonced on, that's like, yeah, good. There is justice in the world. You've got someone like Robin Armstrong who's exposing them maximum capacity.
Yeah.
To the point where even you're being rewarded by the police.
Yeah.
They've acknowledged your hard work.
Aye, they want to come in and say it, aye.
But the social media platform in which you're exposing these monsters
to say that
shut you down again.
Big time. The bullying one. So by the end of the bullying, right, the bullying was crazy. I'll tell you how it started. So my nephew was beaten up, right? My nephew's a lush kid. He's the nicest, quietest kid in the world, good with his grades, very clever. He was walking through a park with his friend. And when he was walking through, he was attacked by some little hoodlums who recorded it on the phones. So I got the video sent to me over a few days saying, look, they've done this to you and everything. I was like, I'm going to fucking kill them. So I put the video online just because I wanted to find them. That was it. No intention of starting a bullying campaign. I was like, who the fuck are these kids who've done this to my nephew? Got the names of the kids, dealt with it straight away. And then because people seen the success it had, how fast it was at getting where they lived, the names and everything, they were like, mate, my nephew's been beat up.
You were then being approached.
I was approached. This is how it started.
By the parents.
By parents all over the fucking country, mate.
Yeah.
Started off locally, just a couple for the first couple of weeks. Then it was London, Manchester, Liverpool, everywhere was like, I would only ever, so what I had to do was, in the early days, someone would send us a video and it could be a mediocre bit of bullying where someone's getting pushed to the bus stop or something. Then they escalated to fucking old women getting their heads braked in with bricks.
Do you know
robberies.
What? Now you're saying it, it's all coming back to me clear as day. Because all the bullies that you would expose, there was always evidence to back it up.
Oh, always.
You would post, exactly like you've done with the nonce cases, you would post the videos of the bullying.
Yeah, the location.
But you'd also magnify it with Well, with your narrative.
Yeah, of course.
You would verbalise what was happening, because some people, they can see things and they're desensitised and it doesn't really go in.
Yeah, it doesn't.
They don't really think in stereo or see it for what it is. It takes someone to spell it out word for word. You see what you're seeing there?
Yeah.
That's happening there. That's how that person's feeling. Look at the impacts on that. Isn't that despicable?
Yeah.
And then because words are powerful.
Oh, powerful.
And you was putting them out beautifully, painting the picture so that people are like realise the magnitude of the situation.
How serious it was.
So again, that's a care of the community.
Oh, great thing, mate.
And you got cancelled for it.
Got cancelled. So the way it built up, right, it got to the point I was getting like 100 cents a day, and I'd have to go and choose which ones I could get through, right? But it deleted the comedy. The comedy was gone at this point.
Yeah.
If I posted a comedy video, people are like, what the fuck's this shit? Where's the bully videos?
Well, all of a sudden, and being a natural comedian that you are, when you're sort of going down that route, people then think, well, that doesn't even seem natural anymore. When really, you're a natural comedian.
Yeah.
That's who you are.
But it just took it over. Like I say, it was just a one-off thing for my nephew.
Yeah.
And then it got out of control. When I say it got out of control, I mean every single video would go to 2 million views in a couple of hours.
I remember.
It was in the newspaper, then it would go to the London newspapers. It was like major news, Sky. So the police were forced to act on every single case. Normally, if a kid gets bullied at school, mate, slap on the wrist, kid gets expelled from school, another slap on the wrist, go home, slap on your wrist off your ma. 2 weeks later, you're back out doing it again, right? This is what I said. I was an 18-stone child.
I was going to say that.
Who got bullied, mate, and I know how it affects kids. It fucking ruins your whole life. If you're bullied from your whole school years, if you leave school without ever defending yourself or whatever, you can go into your adult life being the same, getting walked all over and fucking anxiety-ridden, not going to public places and stuff because of how your life was as a child. And mine would have been like that if I didn't adjust the way I am. So the way I used to explain it when I explained it to the police, I said, this is why I do what I do. If I post a video, right, so your child bullies someone at school, like I say, if they get arrested, they're too young, the police are going to say, right, go away, don't do it again, little scary warning. That is not going to make you stop bullying someone. If your parents aren't super strict, that's not going to make you stop bullying someone. No matter what reason it is, they're going to continue bullying. If you get told to go and grass on them to the teacher, that's going to get you more bullied. If you bring your parents in to grass on the kids, again, it's a vicious circle. When you've got 1 million fucking people looking at the video that you have filmed of you doing something disgraceful, 1 million people are going to see that, which means you're guaranteed that everyone from your local area is going to share that on their inbox to everyone they know. Look who it is, look who it is, look who it is. That person can then not leave the fucking house. It doesn't last forever. It lasts about 3-4 months. You can't leave your house. Because if you do, everyone recognises you from that video, right? So you're in the house, you're reading the comments of how much they want you dead. When they see this is going to happen, you, mate, are that scared, right? You can't escape it. Everyone's watching it. It's on the news. It's shared. No violence is brought to you. They're so terrified by what is going to happen when they leave that house. I guarantee when they do leave the house, mate, they never fucking bullied someone ever again. And there was no violence involved. The police didn't get involved. You just post the video online and everyone can have their opinion on it. Everyone, let the crowd, let the public be the executioner.
Yeah, let the bully have a long, hard look at how they're perceived.
I mean,
because when they're doing the bullying, they're obviously so impressed and so empowered by what they're doing, they feel compelled to record it as well. I'm not just going to bully this poor kid. I want somebody to record me bullying this poor kid because they're obviously proud of what they're doing. That's not. But if you think that's a thing to be proud of, and it's a noble act,
let me show the fucking rest of the world.
Yes, let us post that and then flick through the comments.
You think that video is going to stick in your fucking group chat of 5 people like you dickhead?
Yeah, exactly.
How do you think your fucking video got in my hands in the first place? Because one of your friends sent us the video. Just shows you the kids, mate, that just the social media. These videos are beating people up. Like I say, a lot of social media videos and stuff is what I think is to blame. These like gangs going around robbing kids and stuff. That was always to blame. So I think social media was the best thing that could have happened and the worst thing at the same time.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
It's got like, real good points and real bad points.
Really bad points.
Yeah.
So I used that to my advantage. I thought, right, I'm just going to embarrass you. And when the police come and cut us, I was literally fighting tooth and nail. You know, I was like, mate, can you not see what I'm saying? They're like, look in. Because this is why the panorama thing happened. It was got sort of control that they needed to do an investigation of why it was still legal to expose underage criminals on the internet. It was illegal to do it in the papers, but they hadn't made a law for it on the internet. You know what I mean? So my videos, because every video I was posting, unlike everyone else who would post a fight video, because I had 1 million people, there was a screen over my video saying, this video has not been removed as it may result in the saving of a child. No one else had that screen on their videos, nobody.
And did Panorama approach you?
So the whole episode was about the Facebook's department of why they're allowing certain videos to be kept up, even though some of them are beheadings, fucking mad shit was allowed to be getting kept up.
Because back at what people need to remember is, back when we're talking about, there was outrageous stuff on social media, completely and utterly like, wow, how the fuck has that made it online and stayed online? And look at the interaction. There's millions of views of graphic, gratuitous sex and violence. And you think, well, how can that stay there?
Why is
that being removed?
Yeah.
It didn't make sense to me.
No, it didn't make sense. That's why I couldn't get my head around it. I was like, how? Because I used to always say to myself, I'll share it. It was a beheading video, 2 million views. Why is this beheading video? And I'd share it, and then I would get blocked for sharing the one that's already viral around the world. Do you know what I mean? So I couldn't get my head around why I was mentioned. So the reason I was mentioned was, at the time, a lot of the videos were paedophile hunter videos. I think the Stins and Hunter was doing a lot of stuff in what that bloke killed himself. You know, the paedophile killed himself.
Yeah, I remember that.
So they were starting to be like, look, this is a humanitarian thing, like
Human Rights Act comes into place. And it just makes me sick that actual paedophiles get rights. What about the poor children? Where's their human rights?
Fuck being people get defended and start saying, no, we don't understand. Like, they had a hard life. Like, I don't give a fuck, mate. I had a hard life. I'm not going to nonce the ban.
Yeah, I don't. Do you know what? And I have this, it's not even a debate because I just shut them down and say, fucking be quiet.
Yeah.
Like, do not defend a nonce case. I don't care if they were nonced when they were younger.
Yeah.
You get to a certain age where you know right from wrong and you know left from right and you know that noncing is bad because it's fucked you up. So why would you go on and do it knowing that you're going to destroy somebody else? Like, zero tolerance for me.
There should have a
zero
elimination room where they just walk in and never come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if you was you're a malfunction of a human being.
Yes.
If you were sitting there producing laptops and one laptop didn't work in the manufacturer HQ, you put it straight in the skip.
Yeah.
Do the same for nonsense.
100%. I'd
skip them.
Social media should have been used. It should be used as a platform the right way. I think the way I approached it, I think what the police didn't like was that I wasn't an authority figure. If it was a policeman doing this kind of shit, they probably would have loved it.
There's Piers Morgan or something like that doing it.
Because Piers Morgan shared me shit, mate. I was on the news loads. The video, they were like, anti-bullying hero, I could call. But once the Panorama documentary happened, because there was loads of other stuff in the documentary, there was just a segment about my videos you could see in the background. So they sent an undercover reporter in who had a fucking button cam on. He was in the department interviewing and going, so why is this video allowed to stay on then? And he pointed a picture of me on the thing. And he's like, well, it's quite clever, you see, because we should actually take the video down. But because he condones it in the caption and doesn't actually condemn it, is that the right way? Condone and condemn?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he said that, it's a loophole for us to not have to take the video down. He was like, look at all the interaction. There was like 25,000 comments where a comedy video might get 20 to 100 comments. If you're getting 20,000 comments, it's bringing loads of extra people there. They were loving it. They loved how much interaction I was getting. So they protected us, put a protective shield over my video and kept us on for a year to do maximum damage.
I remember watching a program on the Facebook Traffic, and this was before they silenced Tommy Robinson, and he was brought up on there, and it was exactly the same thing. They would not pull his profile because he generates far too much traffic. And so that's exactly what you had. And then, obviously, since then, stuff's changed, and they're just like, if it's not PC, if you're not conforming to this new woke nonsense, you're gone. And that's your livelihood if that's what you're using to make your money.
Really, mate. Rick having my page deleted. So when the police obviously got in touch, and then Facebook had obviously spoken to the police, and I'd never had a nice call my whole life, never ever. I just got my first nice call with my Facebook money, and obviously it was funding my new girlfriend's life. It was a fucking mint life as well, mate. We're fucking doing whatever we wanted. You know what I mean? We could go and get a fucking jet ski and fucking sniff cocaine and spend as much money as we wanted. Then I was doing an advert for a gym. You know what I mean? Could do what I wanted, mate. It was the best life ever. Someone say, will you post a picture of a slice of pizza from your restaurant on your page? I guess $3,000 on the slice of pizza. You know what I mean? I could get it. It was mint. But I didn't know that the social media, Facebook was going to get exposed on the Panorama thing, and that was going to have to clamp down on me. So I came out with this gym I'd just done an advert for, and I went to log on, and it just went boop and went off, and I was like, that's never happened before. Swipe it up again. Your page is permanently disabled. I didn't know how to tell my girlfriend who was sitting next to us, because obviously all the rent and everything's me, car and everything. So I just took it in for a second, and I just burst into tears, mate. I was like, I had no plan B. There's no plan B, nowhere to live, nowhere to do, you know what I mean? So I was like, fuck. Then I found out, mate, that when the panorama happened, my page didn't get taken down. Someone got in touch with us and said, if you go onto Twitter, there's a man who's got a hate campaign against you, right? And I was like, like, who is he? So I went on, I'll show you this fucking cunt as well. He's actually from London, you know. I wish he was around here. I'd go and fucking kill him, right? So he's called Darren Brown. He had a Twitter account that was 007 Brown, right? No pictures of himself, just photographs of the what's it called mask? The anonymous
mask, yeah.
So I was like, surely not. Like, why would he get mentioned? So then when I started going through his profile, I've got all the screenshots of my phone, I'll send you them, right? Go through his profile, I was looking at the mate, he was this fat, retired bloke. We couldn't see any pictures of him first. I had to investigate for about a week to find him. So I'm looking through these posts and it was like, see if Robin Armstrong feels safe when we connected docs to his accounts and mass reports are flooding in. This man gets kicks out of exposing children, pedophile and like mad shit, right? So I was like, he'd been doing this for about 6 months.
Sounds like he's self-projected.
Oh, mate, proper self-production, right? So listen where this goes. You'll not even believe this, right? So I didn't know he'd been targeting us for 6 months. I was getting blocked all the time. And I was like, I hadn't been blocked forever. So I was like, how am I getting blocked? And then when I started reading through these pictures of how he'd added viruses onto my account, he says, Robin's an idiot. I just have to send him a promotional fucking link and he presses it and he's flooding my accounts and have mass reporters, right? So now I'm like, I went, what?
So he is
mate, proper, he was definitely
IT
legit.
genius.
Yeah, all legit, 100%. So this company, just before the account was taken down, this company agreed to give us £500 a week as a wage because he wanted to get us to 2 million followers and we were going to join, it was going to be a joint venture. He was a businessman who knew how to get us where I needed to be and all this shit. So basically, I'd signed up already with this business and I was in his office when I left the gym, went back to this office and had to tell him, I said, look, I know I've just signed a contract for you to give us £500 a week, but I've just had my page deleted. And he was like, what do you mean? He was like, but do you know why? And I was too all over the shop to understand why it happened. He went, look, let's have a little look on and see if I can find anything. So I told him, I said, look, I had these messages of someone saying, check this guy's Twitter because he's mass reporting us. So he logged on, found the Twitter. He was like, mate, this is legit. You went, this could be the reason why your page has been took down. So we'll look through his account, right? Mate, he'd been a troll for like 5 years, right? Every time we scroll down, someone else he took a dislike into, loads of, I'd send him fucking virus docs and all this shit. And then whenever the pages would get removed, he would use it as a trophy, the notification that he got saying the page has been unpublished. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So my own page has been unpublished was his header picture. He saved it as his header like he was that proud about it, right? So I was like, isn't this off? Like, I'm fucking going to kill him. But I thought, if I react and message him, he could do something to me bank, target a family member. So I had to box clever to try and find him, right? I was like, how can I do it? So I obsessed over it. I went on his Twitter. Mate, I scrolled for about 2 weeks, right? Scrolled till I reached the very, very, very bottom. His first ever post was a promotion of his actual business. So he was a retired automotive photographer, took pictures for fucking Auto Trader and that, right? He had dickhead. So he put his actual name, Darren Graham. And I was like, Darren Graham, DG007, has to be him, has to be. So I looked through, right, and I was like, it's fucking him. So I went to the bloke I was working for, what should we do? How can we get in touch with him? He went, look, I'm going to ring him. I'm going to say, I've seen some of his automotive work and we would like to do a story on him. We'll come to his house and interview him. I was like, do it. He was like, if we go, you can't do anything. I was like, I won't. I had the full intention of smashing his head in if we got there, right? So we'll ring him up on loudspeaker in the office. I'm on the other side of the phone. He's the one who's going to do the talking because my pal is a good speaker. He's a millionaire businessman. So he was like, hi, is this Darren? He's like, yeah, it's Darren, yeah. He's like, Darren, I'm an independent journalist. I've seen you work for the automotive industry and would like to work with you. He's like, narcissism to the highest. Oh, yeah, as if he's really busy. Oh, yeah, I knew someone would call eventually. He's never had a call, right? He's a fucking minging, horrible fucking beard, big, fat fucking tram, right? So we were just blowing smoke up his arse, like, oh, listen, we think your work's great. And he was like, we warmed in for about 10 minutes. Then he went, listen, we've got a big social media campaign going on anyway. We're going to get their opinion on the public of some of the controversial influencers out there. He's like, oh, yeah, I can't stand the influencers. We were like, aye, this could be him. And we're like, he went through a few names. What do you think about Jack Jones then? And he was like, I don't really know that one. Oh, what about this guy? We named like 4 different names. He was like, oh, what about that Robin Armstrong? He went, yeah, I know him. And I was like, fucking him. It's fucking him. It's him. I knew it was him, right? So I was like, fucking raging. And he was like, yeah, I know him. I don't like how that guy goes on. And he was like, oh, no. He's like, yeah. I think it's disgusting, actually, how he doesn't even, he picks on kids. Like, why can you not pick on someone his own age and stuff? And I was down to say, you've seen the videos. He's like, does it all for views. He goes, listen to me. He goes, my best friend, right, on my mum's life, he goes, it's a perfect example. You can't blame the families of the people that have done the crimes. He goes, I'll give you an example. My best friend is Levi Belfield. Now, Levi Belfield, the child murderer?
Yeah, mate.
He is his best friend, right? He goes, he's my best friend, Levi, right? He goes, and his kids, when he got sent to jail, went under a heavy scrutiny. They were bullied, and it was disgusting. And it reminded me a lot about that. And I was like, on the fucking other side of the camera going, what?
Who the fuck would admit to being
Levi Belfield's best friend?
unreal?
Yeah, I'll show you. You can look into this cunt, by the way, because I didn't want it intimidated me because I was like, I don't want it to fucking try and come after us again. But I'll show you who this cunt is, right? So Levi Belfield's his best friend. His kids are now living with him, right? So Levi's kids, we look after his kids. He's my wife's good friends with his wife and stuff like that, right? And he goes, and it reminds me, Robin reminded me of him. Attacking young people when he didn't know the full story, just for likes. He's a disgusting piece of shit. He was like, just giving us loads of grief.
He was comparing you to Levi.
Comparing me to Levi. So he was like, Levi, even though Levi done the crime, his family are getting loads of grief, and I don't like that. And Robin is like, on some videos, I was saying, listen, tell your fucking dad if he wants to come and fucking have a fight, bring your dad. I was just like venting to the bullies. I would say to the bully, you've done this, you're a scumbag. I've had a message off your dad. Tell your fucking dad, tell your mum to fuck off. Like, just me just being charismatic in my videos of how I felt about watching the bully video. He tried to compare me, because I was bringing people's mums and dads sometimes, and they Spaniard there just missed, hit the world.
I'm just thinking about you telling people to fucking get your mum and get your fucking dad. And then you referred to it as being charismatic.
Sounds like I was being charismatic as fuck. Like, fuck your mum, fuck your nana. And
on the charm offensive.
I mean, though, because they'd done bad things, mate, I was venting, right? So when he said, he was like, so Robin attacks the innocent family members, similar to people do with my best friend, Levi Belfield. Like, people attack his kids and ex-wife. And it's not on. I was like, I needed to go, you just compared me to a child murderer because I fucking swear at someone's mum sometimes because the son's a little arsehole. Like, is that obviously how low he stooped? And then we said, all right, then, okay, but I'll tell you what, come and meet you. And he was like, I can't see why. And we were like, I went, asked for his address. And I said it out loud, out of pure excitement. And he went, who was that talking? And he was like, sorry. He was like, oh, nobody. He went, I just heard a Geordie voice say, who was that? Asked for my address. I was like, because I'm fucking on your line, you fucking dirty bastard. I'm coming for you, Darren. I found you. And he hung up. And then I messaged his personal account and then I found his wife, and I fucking messaged his wife straight away that your fucking husband's a fucking wronging. He has what he's doing. And I put him on blast online, and they mysteriously disappeared. He was getting them all reported and stuff. So I found him. I found the person who I think was responsible for the end. And when my page was removed, I think that this computer whiz kid who obviously attaches viruses and stuff because he had a fucking
viruses, bots, the lot.
Oh, for years, different people he was targeting: reality stars, sports stars, random people from his area. Like, if anyone gave him a bit of grief in the street, he would fucking try and ruin their lives.
Oh, he'll still be doing it under another account.
100%.
He's obviously obsessed with that sort of behaviour.
Yeah. I've even got his phone number. I saved his phone number. Shall we ring him right now? All right, Darren, you daft cunt.
He'll ruin my chat.
Bring the whole
before it's even begun. It's all right. I ain't got a problem with it.
Actually, Darren, great work, lad.
So that page was dismissed.
That page was dismissed.
That was another one. So you've now started again for the final time.
Yes, the final.
And this time, surely, as it's all comedy and it's all good fun and it's all to put smiles on people's faces, as long as you don't joke about the things we're not supposed to, which we don't even know what that is anymore. Yeah, which is everything. How are you going to move forward with this page now? Because you've now built yet again a substantial following. So you've lost let's just say, let's be conservative. You've lost 2 million followers.
Probably overall.
Let's just say overall you've lost 2 million followers spaced over 2 or 3 accounts. And now what are you back to?
Over all platforms, 700,000 I'm back up to.
So you're back up to like, you're staring another 1 million followers in the eye, which is mega impressive because I've been cancelled 3 times. This is my 4th time. And I know how disheartening it is.
Oh, mate.
And when I saw you keep coming back, because I didn't just come back.
Yeah.
I just thought, I'm not doing this for another year. I'm not doing it again. And seeing you was inspiring. It's like, look what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to come back. Because also people forget, but because of the algorithm, people just think, oh, you've gone.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's as if you've nuked yourself. It's like,
mate.
no, I've not nuked myself.
Yeah.
Just type my name in and you'll find me. But it doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't. So it was heartbreaking losing the first billion, you see, because I just assumed the next day
they'll be back.
people are going to go, where's Robin gone?
Yeah,
Mate,
no.
Next fucking month, 2, 3, 4 months, I only had 100 followers.
Yeah.
You know, I was getting 1 view where I'd reached the point where I had 1 million followers where I could edit a video really good. It would take us a day, but then the content was mint. But I was spending a full day to post a video that was going to get 1 view. And it was like, that was where I should have given up. We should have quit. But I just, because I'd put all my eggs in this basket, mate, and I'd felt what it was like to be at the top of the game, you know what I mean? I was like, this is it. I'm just about to be rich and fucking super famous and I'm going to get into everything I've ever wanted to do. And then it was taken away from us. I think if it wasn't for what I'd tasted, if I didn't do good the first time, I probably wouldn't have went back.
Yeah, you know you've got the ability, you know you've got the likability factor, and you know you've got the creative brain that, it's a kick in the bollocks, it's a setback, but I know that I didn't get there by chance or by fluke, so I'm going to go again.
I'm going to do it again.
So, I mean, I'm sure you don't even need me suggesting this, but because you're now doing the stand-up comedy, and you're very good at that, and I admire the bollocks it takes to do that, because I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And I got pretty big stones. But that, for me, is probably a bridge too far. I say that, you never know, one day I may think, fuck it, I'll give it a go. But what you do is impressive, and I tip my hat, and I'm just hoping that this time you don't cross the line, or now you're more aware of where the line is.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, you've never crossed the line. You've kept it just where it should be.
Yeah.
But now we've got to play to a different set of rules.
Yes.
To a woke set of rules.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping that you stay within that boundary so that you can progress and your stand-up comedy. So I'd like to think this time next year, you got a tour. You're doing what Dapper Laughs is doing.
Yes.
Because, mate, you're built for television.
All right.
You're built for audiences.
Yeah.
And, well, I've said that the first time I spoke, just like, I think you belong on TV with your own chat show.
That's the ultimate goal.
Quick, smart, like fluent, everything just works.
Yeah.
Look great. I hope that's what happens for you. And before we wrap it up, what would you say? What would you say to anybody out there? Because your biggest platform, the one that was really, really hitting hard, was the bullying one.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of people admired it. And you haven't got the voice anymore where you can say about bullies because you're now focusing on comedy.
Yes.
But because we have touched based on it, what would you say to anybody that's being bullied out there?
I would, back in the day, my advice would be, it's usually just being a council estate kid, I would say, said about them. You would normally say, I was raised, if you're getting bullied, lay hands on somebody. But now the rules are totally different, mate. If you're getting bullied, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to give advice on because let's be realistic. You can't go and grasp the teacher. You can, and you should. That is what a young child should be able to do. Should be able to go to the teacher, and the teacher should be able to go to a child and say stop when they shouldn't be done again. But realistically, with the age of social media and stuff like that, it's not possible. My advice: if someone bullies you, you fucking hit them in the face with a brick as hard as you can. Not really, no. Don't do that for your child. I would say bullying now is probably the best to make yourself up, surround yourself with friends who are willing to look after you. If you've got a close friend enough who's there to have your back, then you'll not have to worry about being bullied on your own. It tends to be kids who are vulnerable and by themselves. If you know someone that's being bullied as well, you should stand up for the kid. Because if you stand up for a child who's getting bullied, in the later years, you'll be the popular one. Normally at school, the bullies are the popular kids. But when you became the kid who bullies the bullies, you will be the person that's liked a lot. So if you're getting bullied, my advice is to try and team up with someone who can have the wing over your shoulder. If not, stick the fucking nut on them.
And the next few years,
yes.
What lays ahead for Robin Armstrong?
Right.
What's your plan?
I now know all the bad things to do on social media. I know I can't say certain things, which affects me a lot because I have to say them things for it to get the same reaction. So I've learned now that I stepped away from social media because I've been restricted for so long, and I've started doing stand-up. I also do live sketch shows. I've done auditions. I've done auditions for dwarfs. A couple of weeks ago, got myself a naughty little dwarf. Little person, sorry, you can't say that, can you? I got myself a naughty little person. I've done auditions for an old granny. I done my own auditions. I wrote the script. I designed the backdrops. I made a comedy sketch show. And at the end, I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to blow his away here. I'm going to sing a song at the end, mate. And I'm a fucking mint singer as well, by the way. So I said, at the end of the show, I recruited everyone. I've done it. Every single second of the show was mine. So what you're going to see now is you're going to see us done 2 hours doing stand-up. At the minute, I'm just traveling around the Northeast as I figure out the game. But my sketch show is going to travel around the country soon. So if you know any venues around here that you want us to bring the sketch show down, mate, I promise you, you will never see a sketch show like I do my sketch show. We do 12 sketches, all X-rated, adult, fucking full belt. Where I can't get blocked being on a stage. So I really, really push the boundaries, you know what I mean? I'm talking pedophile hunters. We'll have Jeremy Kyle sketches. I spunk in a granny's face at one point. It's just called Eileen. Come on, Eileen comes on. You know, and I've got an illness where I have to dance along to the actual track. Come on, Eileen comes on. It gets jizzed on. And then I finish with a big song. So the future holds me. I'm going to be doing a podcast soon. Podcast, stand-up tour. My comedy sketch show is going on tour as well. And my social media is going to be unrestricted as of next week. So you're going to see all my videos back again. I've been restricted for a year. So the only reason you haven't seen us this year is I've been restricted for 12 months. But my chains are released next week. I will be coming back slightly not as harsh approach to social media, just so I can sell maximum tickets so you can see us in the flesh.
And yeah, to be clear, you're not going to filter yourself out of choice. You're doing it because
you're doing it because I have to.
Because you have to play the game.
Yeah.
And I'm also now doing the same.
Yes.
I hope sincerely with every fibre of my being that your stand-up tour, your live sketch tour, everything you're doing that you're going to put your heart and energy into becomes hugely successful. I know you're a good man. I know you're a talented guy. I know that the world now needs you.
Yes.
Because we're in a shit state and we need to smile, laugh and love and show gratitude. And on that note, I want to show you some gratitude for coming on the show and thank you because this has been
a pleasure.
A fucking good time.
First of many, I guarantee it.
100%.
You notice how small my hands are?
They're beautiful.
Let it go on there.
I love them.
Hey, see these little hands, yeah? It makes me dig look bigger. Right, I'm going to take the world by storm now.
It's yours.
Oh, it's thanks.